Tolu Smith here. Make sure y'all subscribe to my boy Downtown Deuce ASAP. Come on, man.
Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Destination restoration. Yeah, Detroit. Destination restoration. Yeah, it's our time. Can you feel the elevation? We on a mission on vacation. Time to create the separation. Championships and motivation. 313 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for the confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination. Together all the time together. It's us against the world, it don't get no better. We turned it around, that was the beginning. Coming for the crown, you know we winning. Time to put in the work, I'm about to go berserk. Taking our prisoners, it's my time. Yeah, I know that it hurts. Saying break out the church, you don't wanna see me in my prime. The mission is to ring, we're caught in everything. In the city, supporting the dream. Vision new I never seen, we deserve to be king. It's all or nothing, no in between. Now the clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The dog pound body's crippling. Now the clock is ticking and I hope you're listening. Don't touch me cause I'm sizzling. Physicality is tipping and mentality is menacing. The dog pound body's crippling. Yeah, feel the elevation. We on a mission on vacation. Time to create the separation. Championships and motivation. 313 need no explanation. Miss me with all that conversation. We ready for the confrontation. Counting down to our destination. The final destination.
What up, though? Welcome back to another episode of the Downtown Do Show with the boss. Hope everybody's week is off to a good start. Boss, what's the word? How you feeling tonight?
Oh man, I'm bummed and a loss, but I did call that we go 2-1 in this next streak, so now we're gonna get 2 in a row. But it was a fun game. It was a challenge against a really good team, guys, a really good team, and I think everybody realizes that. So, wow, it's always a bummer to lose. This is loss number 14 on the season. We're tied with the OKC Thunder in losses. It was against a team, and I think I said this in the live. We were able to go live, guys, and so I open it up to you as well. I bet that we win the next one against the Spurs. I really do. I think we learned from this, and we win the next one. And if we lose, you guys can come up with a punishment for me. Someone should chug a warm beer. But if you,
I like that one.
Yeah, that's one. It's one I haven't done since I was 20. But if you guys want to throw it in, because I'm that confident in this team, and I'm going to spin it and say what a great team to learn against. Definitely some things we can improve on, and the Spurs showed us that. So
for sure. We see y'all in the chat, man. Per usual, we're going to get to as many comments as we can in this game. Y'all know the drill. We miss you. Repost your comment, put it in caps lock, super chat, whatever you guys got to do to get our attention. Go ahead and do that, and we will do our best to get to you. Before we go any further, boss, without further ado, you want to hit with the PSA and we keep it moving?
Yeah. So we are still through the month of February. We are donating 50% of all super chats to the Isaiah Stewart Learning Center.
Yes, sir.
It's the after-school program that he co-founded with Dr. Bernice Green Sr. Stu attended it himself in Rochester, New York when he was growing up. Helps kids grades 1 through 12 with tutoring, gives them hot meals, transportation, just community enrichment, just a really great organization. So you guys have been so clutch and so amazing. We've raised a good chunk of money so far. We still have a few more games left in this month. So yes, any of those super chats, half of those super chats will be going to that. And so I'm excited for it. Especially when we don't have Stu here, we can still show our love and support for him.
Man, we'll get to that later too. But yeah, shout out to Stu and that foundation for sure, guys. And shout out to you guys for all your donations and showing love and support for sure. So with that, boss, let's get to tonight's game, man. So guys, if you did not see this game, the Pistons face off against the Spurs for the first time this season at home. And unfortunately, they have their 5-game winning streak snapped at home. falling 114 to 103, dropping to 42 and 14 on the regular season. And like I mentioned, the Pistons had won 5 straight coming into this game, but the Spurs also came in winning 8 straight.
Yeah.
Right. So something had to give. Both teams were playing well. Spurs are a very good team, and something had to give tonight. And unfortunately for the Pistons, they came up short, boss. So as far as injury report, everybody was available. Except for Stu. Obviously, he's out for the next 3 games after this game. But other than that, both teams were pretty healthy. So the starters were the usual: Kate Cunningham, Duncan Robinson, Asar Thompson, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren. And guys, the poll is now live for what you guys thought was the reason that the Pistons lost this game tonight. So you guys can go ahead and have at that, and we will come check on that in a few minutes, boss. Okay, before we get into some initial thoughts, boss, I wanted to show a quick little soundbite of what JB, Coach Bickerstaff, had to say about the preparation for this game and kind of what to expect and what to kind of hope to accomplish in this game. So let's get to that first.
There's so many things he can do with the ball in his hands. That's the beginning of it. And then, he plays vertical spacing game like no one else we've seen before. So you look at a lot of the stuff that they do, how they create lobs for him, how they put small guys behind him. So now he's competing with smaller guys, for that vertical spacing. But his ability to shoot the ball, I think there's so many things that are unique about him at that size. But I think you have to do a great job individually because, he's one dribble from the 3-point line to the rim. So you have to do a great job of making him change directions and then allow the help to do what it does.
So that was in particular about Victor Wembanyama. The Pistons got their first crack at him tonight, and there's a lot of things we're going to get to with regard to him. He didn't have a crazy game. At least offensively he didn't. We'll get to that later, but
he did. I mean, I'll just say he did in the second half. We held him for a long time, and then when we kind of crumbled, he got his game going. But I was actually very proud about how we held him in the first half. So, but he could have definitely popped off for more. But I hope I'm someone that the Spurs have been a team that I really like to watch. I've seen a couple of Spurs fans in here. Great game, guys. But they're a fun team, a fun young team. And so I knew coming in that they had other threats other than Wemby.
Yep.
And so I think now the Pistons and other people are kind of waking up to that like their perimeter shooting is spot on, and they have some guys that can really make for other people and for Wemby. So
got a good team overall. For sure. So we'll get to that in the detail in a minute in our initial thoughts, guys. But let's get to our guy Damadavi coming through per usual with the support. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Let's see what Dom had to say in this game. He said Ron played well and Duren had a few moments, but that's about it. Being afraid of Wemby's presence and going weak to the basket instead of at his chest. Killer turnovers at the wrong time and bricks from 3. D+ game, Spurs win. So I agree. Yeah, like individual guys had pretty good performances in this game, but it wasn't a collective effort, at least for the Pistons. For the Spurs, it was a collective effort for sure. Like Boss just mentioned, they have a lot of guys who can hurt you, not just Wemby, like Coach talked about, but that's what makes good teams, right? You have a complete team. You have a guy, but you also have a great supporting cast. And I think that's what the Spurs have, and that's what they showed tonight. So I agree with you there too, bro, as far as, trying to just make sure you stay aggressive against him. I felt sometimes they were kind of passive, and understandably so, because he's an alien. So you gotta play different against him while still having a level of aggression and just aggressiveness when it comes to how you try to attack him. So I agree. I thought in Spurs they did a good job of that, but they didn't sustain it long enough. So I agree. And then of course the shooting, which we'll get to as well, Dom. So all great points. And he came back with another one. Damadavi showing major love tonight. He also says, guys, I also got to say I'm proud of the fan base. On the socials, we're taking our L on the chin and giving the Spurs credit, unlike fans of the Knickerbockers. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. We don't usually try to find a bunch of excuses when the other team outplayed us or when they're better, like, the Knicks fans at times often do. They try to pick and choose and move the goalposts and stuff like that. I feel like the fan base, at least the Pistons fan base, does a good job of just being honest about what they saw, looking in the mirror figuratively, and just kind of saying, hey, chalk it up, right? So I agree with you on all fronts, bro, per usual. And as always, we appreciate your support, man.
And that's kind of a thing I think the team will do. I don't see JB going into his post-game presser and blaming the refs or blaming fouls or blaming. There's nothing to blame except that they outplayed us, and this is something to learn from. This is our first meeting against them. They're a team that we'll see again on the 5th, which is next week. Like I said, I think we're going to win that one. I think we'll learn a lot, and then after that, the next time we see them would be in the finals. So it's just a good team, and you guys get mad when we lose to the bad teams, and you can get disappointed about this game, but to be, like you said, Deuce, to be able to pinpoint, not make excuses, but be able to look at this as a learning opportunity that benefits.
sure.
So the team has kind of set that example for us as well. They talk you see Cade going, and he talks about what went wrong and what they want to do better. And like a lot of those guys will hold accountability tonight. And I think we'll see a better outcome these next few games.
I agree. And for all the room for improvement the Pistons could have made, because they didn't play their best game, we know that. But I want to highlight this here from a Spurs fan. Says J.R. Jones 881 says Pistons are legit. From a Spurs fan, never been more nervous about a game all year than I was tonight. Right.
Wow.
So we're gonna win games. We're gonna lose games. Shout out to you, bro, for showing up as a Spurs fan. Salute to you. You guys got a really good team. I think people just look at Wemby and see what he does, but that kind of overshadows the rest of the team. But yeah, I think this is just a really hard-fought game. I think the Spurs are just better tonight, right? So we'll get to some of the reasons as to why we thought that was the case, but I think that's a good take as well. Boss, let's get to some initial thoughts, and I'm going to let you lead it off with what you saw in this game that stood out to you. So without further ado, floor is yours.
I think we started off slow. We got they went on a run, and then we came back into the first quarter really well. The Spurs just really, this is a team that you can't tire out. We're pretty equally matched. We're 10th and 11th in terms of young. We're second and third in terms of defensive rating. Like we're pretty evenly matched. We did not have Stu tonight, but we're not going to use that as an excuse because we have B-Ball Paul, and he's definitely been there. What's up, Tom? Let me say hi to Tom too.
What up, though?
Exactly, Tom. Tom knows.
Don't get your hopes up.
Tom knows. Yeah, imagine if we didn't lose a game and went 82-0, the first team to ever do it. But anyways, but yeah, the Spurs just really kind of outplayed us. Our offense has been something we've struggled with that people keep saying we need more. And it's been pretty balanced out. But tonight was a night where we needed, even like Cade struggled. Like our reliable guys struggled. And it goes back to the whole team thing. Whenever we play, I feel like whenever we're hot as a team, everyone's hot. And when we're cold as a team, everyone's cold. That's kind of what it is. So I didn't hate it. I was excited for the game. I knew it was going to be fun. Couldn't call it because this is a team that, again, has been very good. The Spurs have also lost to they have more losses than we do, but they've beaten good teams, including guys like the Knicks, OKC, the Cavs. They've lost to worse teams like but so they're young and figuring it out too. But overall, like I think that we lost our energy for a good portion of the second half and then kind of gained it back a little bit. But the Spurs just didn't let go. They're, like I said, they're not a team we can tire out. They don't give up. Very good on defense. Their transition defense was way better than ours. Like if anything, we should be taking notes from them because I think we hang our hat a little bit on being one of the better defensive teams in the league. But tonight we weren't. And when you have people like Wemby, who, of course, he got 6 blocks tonight. He just seeing him in the paint makes you pull back, makes you change your mind and stuff. That's tough to beat. And then on top of that, their perimeter shooting was on point tonight. Julian Champagny comes off the bench, but he's fantastic. Keldon Johnson can hit. We saw Vassell hit. Castle does well. They have a lot of good talent outside of Wemby. So I think hopefully, people wake up to that point too. They're still young. They still make mistakes. I think that's why I feel like I put them in the same category as us. Some people kind of doubt the Pistons because of their lack of experience, and I would put the Spurs there as well. But obviously 2 very fun young teams and 2 teams that are going to be competitive against each other for a few years to come, I believe.
Yeah. This could be a finals preview.
Yeah.
I know I picked the Nuggets to come out of the West. It could easily be the Nuggets, the Thunder, or the Spurs. In my opinion, I put the Spurs in that category.
Yeah,
it may seem premature because they're so young, but the way they're being coached and the way they're executing what the game plan is, like the Spurs are a really good team, man. Like the Spurs are a very good team. Of course, there's things the Pistons could have improved on to make it more competitive toward the end, but the Spurs just outplayed the Pistons tonight. They came out, they were very sharp. They were executing on both sides of the floor. And if you guys paid attention to this game, the Spurs like to play, the Pistons like to play. They like to turn you over. They like to get stops. They play good defense, and they like to turn their defense into offense. But on the flip side, boss, we talked about how good they are offensively as far as getting out in transition. Their transition defense, like you mentioned, is very good. We've seen the Pistons. The Pistons are used to being able to turn teams over, and there's nobody getting back, and they're getting easy layups and easy run out dunks and things like that. Not with the Spurs. So many times the Pistons will get a stop, they try to run, and the Spurs had at least 2 or 3 guys back every time. Right? So that's defensive discipline. That's effort on both sides of the ball. Their defense is very underrated. They got a lot of big defenders, a lot of big guys, a lot of wings, strong guys they can throw at you. And if you're able to get past that guy in the perimeter, you got to deal with Wemby. So it's a lot to have to deal with. And speaking of Wemby, boss, he's a problem. I think he's more a problem defensively than he is offensively. I think that's the case for sure. He's so disruptive in passing lanes, at the rim. He doesn't block your shot. He's altering it. He's making you think thrice about going in there and taking the shot. And you can see the Pistons are kind of bothered by that. His length, they were bothered by that. Entry passes that we normally see get through out of the pick and roll or back cuts, things like that, just was not there. You see Wemby knock it away. Entry passes, he's knocking it away. 3 balls from the corner that usually get, usually good shot. He's coming in, covering crazy ground and swatting the shot out of bounds. Like it's just a different type of defense that you've seen because of his length. So it was disappointing, but you got to get the Spurs some credit too, man. They're a really good team. They're disciplined, they're physical, they execute, and they earn this win. I got to tip my cap to them.
Exactly. Yep, that's exactly it. And this is a game that, I think we could have done better at moments, but we didn't like the up and roll over. And again, like, this is a good team.
Yep.
I've had people, like, we play teams like, oh, I wish we were playing them with our stars. We can prove how good we are. Like, yeah, we got to preview that tonight with the Spurs. They're just going to be tough. And now, it's we get to learn from it and see them again in a week. And that's the game that's going to matter, more to my opinion of how they play them, because as long as we look like we've learned something from this game, then I'm happy. I mean, this is a different conference, it's been team, but we are the best in the league right now. I mean, I think we're tied with OKC now with this loss, but like there are other better teams out there too, So so it
Let's get some quick comments.
Of course.
Let's get some quick comments real quick. Mike says Wemby is the only player in the NBA that can shoot 5 for 15 and still be the best player on the court. We always talk about that, boss. Truly. You don't always have to shoot well to be able to be a great impact on the court. Guys like Ron Howell all the time, Javante, like he is the ultimate at that, at being able to impact the game in other ways, aside from his shooting. 313 says, I feel like the threat of Wemby is just different to our guys. Cade never had to play against guys that much bigger than him. That's what we were saying before, during the game. It's like they have, at each level, they have good defenders. And that's what makes it hard. You really got to be locked in. You really got to be sharp. You got to execute on both sides, or they will make you pay, because they, like us, like to turn that into easy offense, and they did that as well. Go ahead, boss.
Yeah, no, exactly. And again, this is our first match. This first time we see Cade versus Wemby too. I think one or the other has been injured, and so it's just learning. And better again to kind of lose to this team now and learn for later. Yeah. I think it does. Like we said, be disappointed. Don't doom and gloom. No one wants to hear it. If you doom and gloom, I'm really curious how you felt about the Pistons 2 years ago. Super curious. You are still number one.
I'd hate to see your blood pressure 2 years ago after every loss we had. We had 68 of them. So let's just keep things in perspective, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We'll go player by player and we'll point out what was right and what was wrong. That's what we do for every game. But because there definitely were some things that didn't fit. But it definitely does seem like when we're off as a team. When Cade's not hitting his shots, we're kind of off as a team. But that goes into team ball. And I can tell you none of these guys are leaving even remotely happy. This is not the way it's been with us.
So we give the Spurs their credit. But there were some things the Pistons could have done in this game to help themselves, right? I felt like they started this game sluggish. They came out slow again, right? They let Devin Vassell hit 3 threes in the first 4 or 5 possessions to start this game, right? Yeah. So the Pistons got down 14-2 for those who missed it in the first quarter. 14-2 early in this game. JB called a quick timeout. The Pistons did respond, had their own 7-0 run to get back into it, right, with their defense. Yeah. But I felt like the bench in this game, boss, outplayed the starters. It seemed like every time the bench came into the game after a timeout, right, they were able to cut the lead or cut the deficit just with their energy and their athleticism. I think athleticism is a great way to attack this team too, right? You got to have athletes. You got to have guys who can stay in front. You got to have guys who can push the ball to kind of break through that transition defense that they have, right? So that's what you need. And I think that the Pistons starting group just didn't perform at the level, partially because of the personnel. We talked about athletes. You know, there's some guys in the starting group who aren't athletes, right?
Yep.
So that also makes it harder. But in the third quarter, I thought the Spurs kind of took over the game. Like they kind of took control of the game. The Pistons kind of fighting uphill the whole game. They had points in the game where they had the lead, but it wasn't a big lead. But third quarter, you saw the leads kind of stretching out more and more. I don't know if it was just the lack of pace, because there really wasn't much pace. A lot of foul calls, a lot of whistles, a lot of reviews, just a lot of stuff that really just slowed the game down. And it seemed like it affected the Pistons. Like they were in their half-court offense a lot in that third quarter. They weren't getting on transition at all. And then in that fourth quarter, they tried, but I think the thing that killed them in that fourth quarter, at least early, was the offensive rebounds they were giving up. They were not finishing possessions. They would play good defense for 24 seconds, but they give the offensive rebound up. And every time that happened, it seemed like they got a 3-ball out of it. So those kind of things, we always say, those kind of things kill you. When you play great defense against a good team, you're trying to fight uphill and trying to get back into the game. You play good defense, but you don't finish the possession, and you give up an offensive board, and they score 3 off it, which happened like 3 times in the fourth quarter. That's demoralizing. That hurts. So those were some of the things that I thought in this game that the Pistons could have helped themselves. Not taking nothing away from the Spurs. They played great. But I felt the Pistons could have given themselves more of a chance to win this game had they highlighted those things. So that's what I saw.
Yeah, agreed. And just before we move on, I just want to call this out because it called me out directly. Boss, I guarantee you induce doom and gloom when you are not on the podcast. But because the camera is rolling, you want to act like Nobel Peace Prize speakers saying to save the doom and gloom. No, we could doom and gloom with you.
I'm just wondering why you think we think that.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why you would think we would say anything other than what we feel. Like
I feel like we're the opposite of performers on camera.
We don't get paid by the team to do this, y'all.
No.
This is ain't nobody in our pockets, bro. Like we're being honest. We've always been honest about all these guys. So
you know what?
You could feel that way, but it is what it is.
That's what you know, cool. When you assume, you know what that leads to. So
whether here nor there, we're gonna give you guys our take, and you can decide to roll with it or not. Your reasons are your reasons, but
I hope
that's
you
how
guys
we see it.
As a fan of the Pistons, I hope you guys don't doom and gloom because this season has been historically fun. So
there's no reason that. And that's part of it too. We're not gonna doom and gloom anyway. We never doom and gloom off of one game. Yeah, we've said all year long, one game is a game. They're all 1 of 82. So that's why you're not going to see us get too high or get too low. Yeah, we know everybody here knows that. But there's a few guys that following us, y'all know what it is. We're going to keep it a stack based on how we see it. So and we're going to continue to tell you guys what we think based on how we see it. So like it or not, you ain't got to stay here. You can dip if you want to. Yeah, we're going to do what we do.
Sure, there's plenty of people crashing out right now. Go join them into their party.
Yeah, that ain't what we do over here. We try to keep everything in perspective. So, boss, last thing, 3-point shooting was not good.
Oh my God, so bad.
19% from 3 for the Pistons tonight. They shot 7 for 36 from 3-point line tonight. 7 for 36 is not gonna get it done. For context, Devin Vassell shot 7 for 11. So he took 3 times less as many threes as the Pistons did as a team, and he made as many as the Pistons as a team. So that's not good. And then lastly, 32 assists for the Spurs to 21 for the Pistons. So
that's like, and
some glaring things there.
And that also kind of goes into my second shooter conversation. Of course, people have been wanting that for Cade, and I do think it's valid. But like, there are nights where Duncan is on, Jenkins is on, like our 3-point shooting is unstoppable. Nobody got in a rhythm in 3 tonight. So that's just more of a team thing as well. Like I said, when it just seems to kind of rub off on everybody when things aren't going well. But yeah, that's really all I have. Like you said, give credit to the Spurs, but also there are things that we could have done better as a team. And there are things that we could have done better individually that we will get to in the box score.
Yeah, it's just, both teams got a chance to get a look at each other.
Yep.
Because this is the first time we've seen these teams both at the top of their conferences like this in 20 years. First time we've seen it, right? Both these teams this good since It reminds me of 2005 when we played them in the finals. Like it's been nearly that long since both teams have been at that level. So it's kind of like just kind of feeling you out, feeling both teams out. They haven't seen each other. So I'm sure there are adjustments the Spurs are going to make too next time they see us. Things that probably Paul Reed, give him some more attention, right? Just different things both teams are going to make adjustment wise because they haven't seen each other. And the Pistons going to do the same thing. So it's just one game, right? You win some, you lose some. All good. We're right there with the best of the best. And this is the same Spurs team who has dominated the Thunder all year.
Yeah, and I look forward to this. Clifton says the JB presser was good because I'm sure that, like I said, he's not making excuses. He's calling it out.
For sure.
So I'm curious, Clifton, would you mind letting us know if they asked about Asar Thompson? Because I just want to make sure he's healthy. Because we didn't see him.
He's healthy. No, he's healthy.
Okay,
he's healthy. I did see. We'll get to him. We'll get to Asar. But
some people were asking about him, and I get that maybe why he was in the rotation. Who knows? But I just want to make sure it was good because it was a little bit questionable. I see both sides, but I just want to make sure that wasn't a thing.
We'll get to Asar. I wasn't mad about the rotations with Asar and Ron. So okay, we'll get to that. Boss, let's kick it off with some box scores. Let's get to
this is what I assumed. Hold on real quick. This is what I assumed it was, and that's why I'm okay with it.
So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Let's get to K first as far as the box score. Tonight, guys, K finished with 16 points on 5 for 26 shooting. Probably his worst shooting game of the season, other than the game when he shot like 40 times. Like was it against the Wizards? I forgot. But yeah, I think other than that game, it's probably his worst shooting game of the season. 2 of 9 for 3, 4 or 5 from the free throw line, 6 boards, 10 assists, only 3 turnovers. So that's a bright spot. The 10 to 3 assist turnover ratio is good. And then another bright spot for Cade, even though he didn't shoot well, 2 steals and 5 blocks for 5 stocks in this game. That is by far a team high.
You mean
he
3?
Did that, guys? Huh?
You have 5 blocks on yours?
No. I said 5. My bad. I said 5 stocks. 2 steals and 3 blocks for 5 stocks.
Okay, you said 5 blocks for 5. So I was like, whoa.
5 stocks for Cade.
Yeah.
In 35 minutes. So what'd you see from Cade tonight?
Yeah, Cade kind of got hampered a little bit on some foul trouble. He still played through it pretty well, I would say. There were a couple times he had to let the guy go past him, but overall he stayed aggressive out there with the foul trouble. Yeah, the shooting, terrible. If he makes 10 of those, we're in the game. We win the game. Instead of 5, if he makes 10 of 26 instead of 5 26, So not a great shooting night from Cade, and you could tell it's frustrating him. I mean, 19.2%. That's probably the lowest of the season, I would say.
Yeah.
Kind of just a stinker for Cade, honestly. But he's, he still recorded a double-double. It's a guy that he's been just on one. He's coming off of a 42-point game. He's been crazy with the stocks. He's been hitting his threes. So just tonight, it just wasn't there. He was getting a little frustrated out there. So I don't know if it was just
getting hacked and he didn't like it.
Yeah. And so, he is a guy that he I think he still makes the right decisions in terms of whether to try to take the game over, what he needs to do, shoot. So he still made, I think, the correct decisions tonight. I don't think he was throwing up shots that he shouldn't have took, but they definitely did shut him down. That was probably the Spurs game plan, and they did it. So I definitely expect a better game from him going like on Wednesday. I expect a better matchup against the Spurs next week. Just not a great Cade shooting night. That's the biggest flaw, I would say, was just not seeing the ball go in.
And once again, to your point, I just think the Spurs play good defense. Like the Spurs, we talked about, the Spurs have obviously got Wemby, but they have good perimeter guys. They have tough physical perimeter defense, defensive guys who can guard. Stephon Castle is 6'4", 6. Like we're used to seeing Cade, bully his matchup because he's usually much bigger than the opposing point guard. But Stephon Castle is 6'5", and he's a big guy, right? Yep. Devin Vassell is 6'4", 6'5". He's a big guy. Keldon Johnson is 6'4", 6'5". He's a big guy. So they have a lot of guys like the Pistons do. They have a lot of strong, physical, athletic wings who can guard, just like the Pistons, right? So I think that was part of it. Is that Cade wasn't really able to take advantage of his size the way he usually does. Even when he was getting Stephon Castle in jail, getting him on his hip out of the pick and roll, you could still see he was bothered by Castle still getting his hand up from behind, right? So just the length and the size that they have makes it a little bit harder when it's not as opposed to Cade being able to go against guys who were 6'2", 6'3", sometimes 30 pounds lighter. That wasn't the case, and that's not the case with the Spurs because they have a very well-rounded defensive team. So you got to give those guys credit for how they're assembled, and also for how they execute the game plan. Because once, like I said, you get past those guys, you still got Wemby right there. So that makes things tough for everybody else. So, but you mentioned the foul trouble too.
Mm-hmm.
He had 5 fouls early in the fourth quarter, 4 fouls early in the third quarter.
Yeah.
I thought he did about as well as you could do guarding with that foul trouble. It was 2 possessions in a row. He just held Stephon Castle in check at the rim.
Yeah.
And you can see they were trying to help. They were trying to bait him to get him out the game. But he played good defense in those possessions. So I got to give him credit for that. A few of his fouls too that he was picking up. Like one of the fouls, you saw the Pistons were trying to be physical with Wemby, right? So you would see out of the screen and roll.
Yeah.
You would see Cade as Wemby is rolling, off the switch. When JD is out there, you would see Cade try to give Wemby a little chop block, like a little chip block as he's rolling to the rim to slow down his momentum so he can't get the lob. But the officiating was not allowing that. They called a foul on one of those plays when Cade tried to give him a little chip, roll to the basket, just slow him down just a little bit, foul, right? So stuff like that, I think, is what hurt Cade too, especially early in this game. Mm-hmm. Did you guys see when he got into it with Stephon Castle in the first half? Yeah. I still don't know what happened there, but I just saw Cade push him to the floor. It looked like Castle was grabbing him. He pushed him to the floor, and he dislodged him too. Like he pushed him, like he wanted to push him down.
Yeah.
And I don't know what caused it, but yeah, he pushed him down. And he had something to say to him. And then Keldon Johnson came over and defended him. But it was, I don't know what was said, but it was obviously something because Cade don't usually respond like that.
Yeah.
Or let guys get under his skin like that. So maybe something we missed there, but it was definitely frustrating for Cade for sure because he was getting grabbed and pushed, and on top of those guys being just big and strong. I think that was one of the biggest things that affected Cade tonight with the shooting. So I think he'll bounce back the next time they play.
Exactly.
But that was definitely a factor in this game tonight for sure, which once again, you got to give the Spurs credit for that.
It's like, it felt like, usually when we see Cade get angry or see him get bothered, he kind of snaps out of it. And I feel like he just couldn't tonight. That's just kind of what it felt like. He was frustrated early. He stayed frustrated. He took his frustration out and he couldn't get it out of him. So guys, they have those games. So that's kind of where I'm at with Cade tonight. Like you said, I think he does bounce back and does sing a little bit differently. So
yeah. Thomas real quick says, why does JB refuse to play Sasser? It has to be, that's what I think, bro. Because honestly, I think that's why. What's that?
Especially against this team with their huge guards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I felt like there were times when Danis should have been in the game because of Karras was in the game and you wouldn't have another ball hunter. That Danis wasn't even in the game because we usually see, Danis with Karras. Tonight we saw Karras with Cade, which is okay. But I think Karras played so much tonight, guys, for that reason, because he's 6'6", Sasser is 6'1", 6'2", and even Danis is 6'3". So it's like, I think he was just trying to go bigger for defensive purposes, and that's why we didn't see guys like Danis and especially Sasser in this game. So yeah, that's all I had on Cade though. Anything else on Cade?
No, that's it. I do want to say it just depends on game plan going forward. I wouldn't be surprised if Sass is someone that we see against OKC on Wednesday because they have a little bit of a smaller lineup with some guys gone. And they're definitely a perimeter shooting team. And then if that goes well, I could also see him play against the Spurs next time. So we'll see. But I understand, especially when you're kind of teased with shooting on the bench like Sass and like Herter and Chaz, who I think was a G League assignment, even though their games got delayed because of weather. So I don't know if they were eligible again. But anyways, I digress. But when we as fans know what there is, and you're just like, why isn't that coming out? There's reasons. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you guys too. Clifton saying Danis belonged out there. He competes and gets to the rim. I don't like the conventional thinking about size. Danis competes. I mean, I see it both ways. I understand. Like, you don't want nobody to get picked on, but at the same time, I felt he could have got more time. Even, Sass at times, I wouldn't be mad if you just give him a shot. It's hard because these guys haven't played together, and it's like you can't turn the ball over. So any miscommunication, they're going to take advantage of that. So it's kind of hard with Sasser because he just hasn't played enough with these guys. Maybe coach didn't trust him. Who knows? Last comment, and we'll go to Duncan. Kevin says they do a good job of funneling Cade to Wemby, and where usually when Cade gets to the paint, he can finish over or around length. Wemby is a different animal, made it tough. Exactly. And that's why I say he's better defensively than he is offensively, because he a lot like Stu in the sense that he makes you think twice before attempting a shot in that painted area. So many times you saw a lot of guys like Paul Reed had his shot swatted, on a jump hook. A lot of any other player defensively, that's a goaltend.
And guys,
Any other jump hook with Cade at the rim, that's a goaltend. But with Wemby, these guys haven't seen him. So it's hard to gauge in real time and adjust in real time to somebody like that. There's nobody in the East like Wemby. There's nobody in the East. Like Evan Mobley's not anywhere near what Wemby is defensively. So it's like they haven't seen him. And it's hard to make the adjustment on the fly. You kind of just got to go through it, which is why I'm okay with tonight because they got their first look.
Exactly. And this is the first time that Wemby and Cade have played against each other ever. Not this season, but ever. So this is just like, and again, like our whole thing is bounce back. So tonight, while it would have been nice to get the dub and continue to adjust, like tonight, we know that we now need to adjust. So
yeah, I agree. So you can put blame anywhere, but there's mistakes made all around in this game, and that's usually what happens when you play a team for the first time, right? So I'm not upset about that. So we'll leave it there.
I see a lot of comments, and it's easy to kind of pick on one person. There's multiple people that people are picking on, but like this was a team loss. Just like once the win is a team win. There were a lot of things that people could have done better, and Cade's 5 of 25 does not look great on this stat sheet. So
bad game. I mean, he didn't develop his MVP case over one game though.
Yeah,
he's been playing great all year, so we ain't about to jump on Cade for a bad game against a really good defensive team. It happens to everybody. So we'll leave that there for sure. Yeah. All right, boss. Let's keep it pushing. Let's go to Duncan Robinson. Tonight, guys, in this game, Duncan finished with 13 points on 5 for 15 shooting, 3 for 11, 3 boards, 5 assists in 27 minutes. Thoughts on Duncan, boss, in this game? What did you see from him?
Yeah, just another bad shooting game. He did have a couple open looks that he couldn't drain as well. A lot of his threes weren't very contested, but he did finish 3 of 11. So just couldn't find it tonight. But when he was out there, he did try. He had a really nice lob to JD on a transition. To put up 5 assists is huge. As Cade has 10, and then Duncan had 5, and then the next were Asar and Tobias with 2. So he definitely made up for it in other ways, but his shooting is something that, of course, 3 of 11 is a little rough. If you're going to shoot 11 shots, you're hoping for at least 5 or 6 of those to go in, but that's just the way it was tonight. He also, he only played less than 27 minutes in that time. So I think JB kind of had a finger on having him out there when we need offense, getting him out of there when we need defense. But the offense just wasn't translating to this game. So I'm not mad at the 13, 3, and 5 stat line. It just sucks that a couple more of his shots didn't fall tonight.
Yep. No, I agree with that. Let's get to the super chat really quickly. From Fats Kim says, does Ivy get a ring if the Pistons win it? I believe so. Because the first thing I think about is Anderson Varejao when he played with, I think he played with Cleveland and he got traded to the Warriors. And I think he won a ring with the Warriors. Or maybe it was vice versa. When he was with the Warriors, maybe he got traded from Cleveland to the Warriors the year the Warriors lost to Cleveland. Yeah. They offered it to him. He said, nah, I didn't earn this. I don't want this. He didn't even want it. So but I think you do get it. Go ahead.
I think it's if you are eligible to play over half the games or make it over half the season. I think something like that.
Yeah, it's like a number or something. I think the number of games. That's a good question. Question. I'm gonna look that up for sure.
I'm curious. Anderson Varejao, I always call it hair theater because he does it, and who else did it? I think like Joakim Noah did it. Robin Lopez. When they have the hair that can bounce when you flail.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson has it with braids, but they had it with the fro and stuff. He was my first flop hater, foul baiter.
Oh, Varejao? Yeah.
I could not stand that man.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. There with you. But Fast came out, I do think he, if the Pistons do go all the way, that's it's a long ways off, right? But in the event that they do, I think he would. But I think Boss is right. I think it just depends on how many games. We're over half the season now. He was here half the season, so I think he probably will get one. Good question. I will look that up and we will know for sure next show. But thanks for that question, Fast Kim. I thought Duncan was okay. Like with him. At least with him now, though, I feel like the difference in people thinking he played great and not playing great was his shooting. I feel like he's trying to play the same way every game. Agreed. Right? Defensively, he's given the same effort. He's still moving well without the basketball. He had a nice, what was it, a lob? You mentioned the lob he had. I think he had a nice cut too for a layup. Just moving without the basketball, putting the ball on the floor when they close out too hard. He's trying to do the same things every game. Yeah. It's a lot like and I'm not saying it's the same thing, but it's a lot like Javonte Green and the fact that people will say he had a good or bad game just based on the shot making because everything else is usually the same. And with him, he just didn't shoot great tonight. He hit a few threes, but he shot 30% overall from the field. So that's not great. Once again, I just think it's tough for him against a team like this because you need to have athletes against a team like this. That's why I think Tobias Harris didn't play well in this game for the same reason, right? But guys like Ryan, when they came in, Paul Reed, when they came in, those guys played well. Those guys are athletic. Right? Yeah. So I think that was a big difference for a guy like Duncan. I think he just struggles with this matchup the same way he struggles with teams like the Rockets, for example, right? Just guys who are tall, who are long, athletic. He struggles with those guys. The same way Tobias struggles with those guys. So I won't say he played a bad game. I just think it was a bad matchup for him in this game. So that's all I got for Duncan Robinson, though.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think he played normal, and I think just the shots that he usually can drain were off. But he's been on a hot streak, and again, it's just kind of a theme. When we have a bad game, it's really no one has a great game. We will get to it, but this is now Ron's second career double-double, and we've lost both of those games.
I know. I know. I hate seeing performances like this from Ron not result in the dub, especially when we only have 14 losses on the season. It's like, we can't get none of those games, bro.
Oh man,
crazy.
I'm feeling it too. But yeah, I do agree with that. Which is again, that's why I mean, that is an argument for a Sass and for a Herder and for a Chaz. But this was a tough game. JB is also, I think, people that are upset or questioning rotations and substitutions tonight, I think they're doing the same. This was a team they haven't faced. This is a team that JB hasn't faced with Cade as his this is brand new, and so they were just going with what they thought would work, and now they're going to reevaluate. They're not going to try to be swept by the Spurs. I think, like I said, I think there'll be some changes, and some of those things, like I see Asar should have played with Ron more than we should have had Sasson, we should have had Chaz, and we should have tried Herder. I get that, and maybe they're thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. Chris has a good question. He says, "Do you think Duncan's effort on defense is affecting his offense?" So I don't think so, bro. That's a good question. I don't think so because he's other than the first 2 weeks of the year, he's been pretty locked in defensively, at least average defensively. Maybe even at times better than average defensively, just because of how he's playing team defense. And I've seen in those same games, oftentimes he shoot a good percentage from three, right? So if anything, I would think he would have struggled with that early in the year. But now that he's kind of locked into his role, he's comfortable. I don't really think so, bro. I just think he struggles with teams like this who are physical, athletic, and strong. I just think it's something he struggles with because I've seen him play great and shoot great offensively when he's been locked in defensively. So what are your thoughts on that, boss?
I think that he was locked in. I think his shots, just like Cade, were not falling tonight. If he had made 6 of those 11, it would be a different story. We'd say, good job, Duncan. Good game. So I think it was just shots falling. But for this specific question, yeah, I know that can affect some players, but I don't see it on Dunk because I think he gives effort on the defensive end. And on the offense, he kind of just knows where to go and what to do. That it doesn't require a ton of effort, I would say. And I don't think it's wearing him out either because he did have open looks. He did get to the spots he wanted to. He did still have good off-ball movement. So again, if he just thinks, even if he went 5 for 11, I mean, we're talking a 19-point game. If he just hit 2, if his shots are just going in, much like Cade, it would have been a little bit of a different story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I'm at too. So, all right, we'll leave it there on Dunk, guys. Let's get to some quick comments, and there's a lot of them. Trying to get to as many as I can. Yeah. Spurs the real deal. I agree. If we would have sat Tobias and played Reed and JD together, maybe.
Yeah.
That's
that's something
big lineup.
But that's something we could do more when Stu's back. That's another thing that's going to be different next time.
Yeah, but I do agree with the sentiment though. Just playing the 2 big lineup, period. Especially against a team like this, right? When you gotta win the rebounding battle, when you gotta
have someone that's on the perimeter and on the rim, because that was a lot. Guys either got past JD at the perimeter to get the dunk, or Wemby or someone was left wide open because JD was guarding on the perimeter on a switch. That's when you need 2 bigs.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Perimeter and rim defense.
Yeah, I agree. So that's a good point too. All right, guys, let's keep it pushing. Let's go now, guys, to Asar Tasmanian Thompson in this game, guys. Tonight, Asar finished, guys, with 8 points on 4 for 6 shooting, so he shot well. 4 boards, 2 assists, 2 turnovers in only 18 minutes, boss. So take off on Tasmanian Thompson. What'd you see? And what
Also,
didn't we see?
no steals and no blocks. That's what I saw from Asar.
Yep,
And
me
here's
too.
the thing, guys. If we didn't see it, maybe we watching it back. For JB to bench him for Ron and not play him with Ron, to legit bench him, there must have been something that JB was just mad about. And for Asar to not come up with a steal or block, that's kind of an issue. Like, 'cause that's just not his game. That just
Yeah.
means it's a little bit. Because then, he did have 8 points. He was getting 4 of 6 is good, and he was getting some shots down up early. I felt like
Yeah.
before he was benched, he made a couple mistakes with the turnover and with not getting a good basket. And then JB was just like, just be done. And then he just gave Ron those minutes and then used other offensive people around Ron or
Yeah.
guys like Javonte Green. So I just think it was a better offense. 4 of 6 from Asar is great, but like it also just goes to show like how we really do need he's defense first, and he's steal and block first. And he was a ball handler a couple times, and he canceled his assists out with turnovers, 2 of each, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. So there's just something about his game tonight that JB wasn't loving. And yeah, just rewarded Ron's hustle. And then I don't think it was a punishment to Asar necessarily, but just more of like, he did play Ron and Asar together a little bit in the second half, and then he just brought in different guys to maybe produce some more offense. Or from this guy. I had to rewatch it. He must have maybe not missed some defensive assignments, done some stuff where JB was like, this can't go on. I'm going to give other guys the minutes. But because this is rare to see him play under 18 minutes when all the other starters played over 25. To see him, because we've seen him play with Ron. Ron got 26, so Ron really did take his minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Ron had a great game. So not a great game from Asar, but if anything, I think it just motivates Asar for the next. That he doesn't want it to be the guy who kind of just falls off a little bit. So, but I would like to see, I wouldn't mind if he was in with Ron, but there must have been something that JB was seeing that we just maybe didn't see in real time.
Like it was a few plays I saw that, and I can always tell because as soon as I see like a blown possession or missed assignment and JD calls timeout immediately, and you don't see Ron for a while, I kind of know what this. I don't know what exactly it is, but it seems like there are things that they've kind of gone over before, and there's just these lapses where these things keep happening that really just ticks coach off. Thomas says Asar was getting hung up on screens and was slow. Yeah, I noticed that too. It was a few times like last game where guys are just left open. Open, and you got to get out to guys. I think we mentioned last game against the Bulls where we saw Asar leaving Giddey on multiple possessions, hedging too far over, not closing back out on his guy, right? Just help when it's not needed. Things like that is what I saw. But for me, it's tough because we saw in the second half, we saw Ron's absence, right? When we saw guys like Stephon Castle, who was getting to the rim at will, especially when Kate had foul trouble and couldn't play defense. I felt like Asar could have been big there. Right, when you got Vassell in there with Castle, Ron can't guard both of those guys. You don't want to foul Kate out, so play them guys a little bit more. But I saw Castle really being able to get loose when Asar was on the bench. Right? Yeah. So I understand sitting him, but to sit him for nearly a quarter, or a quarter and a half when the game is in the balance, I thought I wouldn't say that was the wrong move, but it felt like it would have been a lot better for us defensively if he was still in the game in those periods in the game when we were trying to get back into the game. We were making our run. We were just kind of trading baskets. We couldn't really get stops. And I felt Ron, even though he made mistakes, could have been helpful for us in that fourth quarter.
Agreed. Yeah. So that's just kind of, Ron defense was there, but I just think it was a little bit, people are like not getting it, guys. And that's fair.
Yeah, Bryce.
But that's why I think there needs to be. There's a reason, I think, and I think it was because it was just a little bit. Again, if he played 5 more minutes with Ron, that's fine too. But
I mean, Ron was better for sure, no question about it.
I don't know. I don't know if JB heard something from Asar, if he told Asar multiple times to do something and Asar didn't do it. We don't know the full story, but he could just be trying to hold Asar accountable for some missed assignments and miscues, which is not really his style. But we've seen it done before in Pistons coaching past. Is benching guys who aren't giving their full effort. So,
yeah. Michael Moore says Asar didn't match the intensity like Ron this game. So he said, okay, if that's the case, because we're going to get to Ron. I ain't got nothing but great things to say about Ron in this game. Yeah. So if that's how you feel about it, I'm not mad at all. But I definitely did see some things with Ron just assignment wise, just
Yeah.
focus wise, that could have caused him to sit.
Yeah, and this is also, a kind of common question, like, how is he supposed to get better if he's not allowed to make mistakes? He's allowed. He gets minutes. This isn't a common occurrence. This is the one-off. That's what's telling me that it was something that JB was just like, this is not working. And so I'm going to trust him with that, because if it was more common, I think that's when you can question what's going on, why are you making these decisions, but it's not common. So
yeah, I think that's fair too. That's fair too. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. On Asar, didn't have a great game. You know what? Let me give my quick thoughts on this. I thought there were times offensively too, and I think that's the difference right now. Like, whether you think Ron brings more intensity or not, I'm not going to argue it either way. I think they both do in different ways.
yes. Oh my gosh.
I think Ron outwardly for sure more, but I think they both do. But I feel I don't know. Sometimes Asar is just out of control offensively, and that's when it hurts you. Like, you can't turn the ball over against this kind of team. It was one play in the last couple of games, I've seen him kind of lose control of like his footing, trying to go to that spin move, like off the dribble, going to spin move for a layup, and he's just out of control. And tonight he tried again. He was out of control. He tried to do an outlet to the corner with turnover. Things like that hurt you. You can't have out of control plays like that. He's got to continue to work. He's been better, but against a good defensive team who likes to run like we do, you can't afford to have those kind of plays. He'd had some moments. Like, he got to the midi game a little bit. Thought that was good.
Yeah.
He knocked down the midi jumper.
It was early. It was early.
And he also attacked. I wish we would have did it more. Him and JD attacked Wemby's chest. Attack him. Go into his chest. Both of those guys had a nice finish at the rim with Wemby planted and ready to go when they put their put the ball into their chest, put their shoulder into their chest, and take away his verticality. So he did do that. It just wasn't enough. So I don't know as far as why he didn't play in the second half, but I felt overall it was kind of a up and down game for him. And I felt Coach made the right move, at least in this game, to play Ron more, even if you don't think that Asar only should play 18 minutes. I'm not mad at what Ron did, so I can't really argue that.
Exactly. I think the argument here is, like, if Ron was doing well, why not play them together? And they did for a few minutes, and that was when that was one of Asar's offensive breaks where he turned it over. So I think he was just kind of like, he had a few minutes out there with Ron to see if it worked, and then JB tried something else. He was just trying some things. Again, this is brand new to everybody, but I understand. I completely understand why people are like, why not play Asar more? Because I get it. But if it was between Ron and Asar, just for rotation's sake, to figure things out, Ron definitely earned the minutes over him tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Organic says, teams are afraid of Asar on defense. You have to be aware of where he is. That deserves a chance for redemption when he makes mistakes. I'm not mad at that either. Yeah, I'm not mad at it, bro. I see it both sides. Like, and that's the thing. We're not in those huddles, so it's hard to really know exactly what it was to be able to really talk about it. But I definitely feel that, I'm not mad at it. I think it could have been better, could have been worse, but we'll leave it there, guys, for Asar.
Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah. All right. Let's keep it moving, boss. Let's go to Uncle T in this game. Tobias Harris tonight, guys. 4 points for Tobias Harris. 1 for 6 shooting overall. 0 of 1 from 3. 2 of 2 from the free throw line. 8 boards, 2 assists, 2 turnovers in 30 minutes. So, wow, that's not great. That's not great, boss. What did you see tonight from Uncle T?
I mean, like Cade and like Duncan, the shot was not going in. It just goes around. He had 4 points, and 2 of those were free throws. He ended with 8 rebounds, but he had 7 rebounds at the half, and that actually led the team. That was more than our bigs. And so he's still doing things. He's been on a rebound tear lately, especially with Stu out, when Duran was out. Like, he's stepping up in those areas. I think he's just kind of doing that same thing of, like, 1 of 6 is tough, but it's not 1 of 11, So, he was trying to do the right thing in those moments. His shot just was not falling again tonight. He also had 2 turnovers. Like I said, there's a good defense. So, it's something that I wish got going, because it would have been really helpful since we didn't really get to get our transition game out. But it's something that they'll work on as well. There were some opportunities that I think he could have backed down and taken the shot, and he lost it, or he passed it out instead. He was just trying to make the good decision tonight. But just like Cade, just like Duncan, the shot just wasn't going in. And he actually played pretty good defense, I would say, on some of these guys. He slowed them down. He stayed in front of them. So that I will give to him. He definitely tried out there. We just could not get our offense going. And anyways, Cade or not, none of them.
So J. Cole threw down a poster dunk, and that was about it.
Yeah.
That was about it. Y'all
That
saw
was
it. Y'all
the
saw
dunk.
that
That
dunk.
was just a
Y'all saw
basket.
that dunk that he had
Oh my
on
god.
Champagne. That was nice. That's the
That was
first time
beautiful.
I've seen him all year not dunk politely, which
And
means the little quick two-hand dunk he always. This is the first time I actually saw him try to take off and poster somebody all year. I don't know if it was something behind that or what. Yeah, Nacho Nick, that dunk was crazy, bro. But it just wasn't going for him. Like I mentioned before, I think he's bothered by once again. When is Tobias Harris at his best? He's at his best in the half court. When
yeah.
he's what? Finding mismatches. They have a lot of big guards and big wings. So when you get the switch, you go from Vassell to Castle or
Yeah.
Castle to Johnson. Like the switch isn't even a great switch because you've got a guy who's still capable of being able to guard. So he wasn't able to really bully the way he really likes. So I just think it just wasn't there for him. I think he struggles once again with their size, their athleticism. That's why I think he and Duncan both struggled. But which wasn't his game tonight. 6 shots is usually that's not enough for him. But once again, he's not getting good shots, so he's not getting them up.
I was like, I don't even think it's really a struggle. We've seen him lately I think we all struggle tonight. And that's just when everyone's off. But we've seen him back down superstars and be able to make that jump shot. So I think it was just a little bit of, maybe he was just trying to get the shot in prematurely.
I agree, but it's like he couldn't get into a flow because he couldn't, there was no mismatch at all.
Yeah, but no one did.
But his points were coming in the ISO. It wasn't like it was relied upon in the half court offense off ball movement. Like he's usually just going and getting it himself. I just think he didn't have favorable matchups to be able to go and get it.
He was still getting those back down shots, but he wasn't able to get it, like you said, not able to get it going. I think it was just mostly those shots weren't falling. I don't think any of his shots were necessarily bad.
Well, they weren't. When he was going to the post, he wasn't getting closer to the rim. Like he wasn't able to really get a good shot off. You know what I'm saying? Like he would get the ball, but he wasn't able to get a good quality shot because those guys are good defenders. Like you didn't see him being able to bully his way, and then get to it. He was kind of just getting stood up a little bit.
Well, true.
It just wasn't really there for him.
That was one of his turnovers. Was like we were like, oh, Keldon Johnson's on him. He's gonna back him down. He's gonna get it. And someone else, I think Wemby came in and knocked it out of his hand. It's like okay. So even when he did, they just made it tough.
But Keldon Johnson's a big guy too, though. That's what I'm saying. It's not going from a 6'7" guy to a 6'2" guy. You're going from a 6'6" guy to a 6'5" guy. Like those guys are all.
You called it a mismatch in the live too, so it wasn't
on the first play. And then I saw it wasn't there, and I ain't saying no more. It just wasn't really there. I thought he was going to be able to get it, but those guys are strong.
I'm bringing up the play we were talking about. So
well, I'm talking about the whole game as a whole. As a whole, he shot 1 for 6 for a reason because the majority of those shots just weren't really good shots. So. It's just a bad matchup, I think, for him. Bad matchup. So, by the way, guys, we have a guest coming on to the show. Our dog, Vinny, is back in the building. He just left LCA. He was like, hey, bro, I got to talk about this game. So, y'all already know, he asks and he receives. So, Vinny, what up, though?
I hear a big echo from you, Deuce. I don't know what it is, but now I hear it from myself. Do you hear it, Eric?
I hear a baby.
I
hear a baby in the back. I don't know whose baby that is.
That's my son going crazy right now.
Oh, okay. He must have saw the game. He's watching highlights right now.
He was not happy with the game, bro.
Yeah.
I don't hear a baby, but ever since we pulled Eric up, all I hear is an echo. But it's cool.
Oh.
Eric, can you mute? Maybe if you mute your laptop or something, can you mute and still hear us?
Yeah. Let me try.
Maybe that's what it is.
Close my windows.
If not, it's cool. Because I don't hear an echo either.
Yeah, I don't hear anything. I close all my stuff.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Okay.
Can you still hear it?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Let us know if you guys hear echo. If not, we'll just keep it pushing.
Yeah, I'll leave. If y'all need me to leave.
No, you ain't going nowhere, bro. You just got here.
Sorry about that. What's up, y'all? I appreciate y'all having me, man.
Yeah, man. Listen, so we talked about a few guys already. We did our initial thoughts. We talked about individual guys. We got all the way to Tobias. So whatever you saw in this game up through the power forward position overall, let us know what you saw in this game, bro.
Yeah, this is one of the games where, granted, the Pistons are still a good team, and I don't think there's any shame in losing to a team like the Spurs. But these are the games where, for a lot of the season, it seems like when the Pistons lose in these kind of situations, you see the glaring issues show and become more glaring. It's not like it was a game where they were playing good. They just kind of got out hustled or out muscled by a different team or a better team. They were just off basically the whole game. Like they really never caught a real rhythm offensively. Cade, I think, had his worst game of the season, especially in the shooting slump. They were just outmatched. Like the Spurs are a team that I think can come out the West, and they showed that this is what a team looks like when you build it properly. Like you have a superstar, and they have all the components that you need, from wing depth that can defend, secondary creators, young talent that's still developing, veterans who can come, provide a spark when needed. They have everything except for experience. I love what the Spurs did. Again, I don't have any problem with losing to a team as good as they are. You see why OKC, exactly like in the comment, why they've had the problems that they had with them in the regular season. But to me, for the Pistons specifically, these are the games, and I can think of others offhand. The Houston game at LCA, tonight's game, the game against, I think it was Boston, where they were kind of cold the first time they played them on the road. These are the games where the glaring issues of their offense and defense, I mean, defensively they were okay in some spots. I think they did a good job on Wemby in the first 3 quarters, but offensively, if they can't play in transition, they really struggle. And Deuce, I heard you earlier. The Spurs are a really good transition defense team. They run, they have the athleticism, and they have the ultimate eraser in Wemby, where a lot of people thought he was goaltending. Nah, man. I was watching those replays. That timing is just impeccable. Like, trust me, I was there, so I'm like, dang, that's got to be goaltending. No, he's right at the point where just before it was about to come down, he had it snatched already. So this is a fantastic team. I think they're one of the best teams in basketball that can come out of the West for sure. And I think these are the kind of games where, again, it is what it is. They're just a better team, but it also just show a little bit of the frustration in terms of what the Pistons lack, because the Spurs put it on high display tonight at LCA.
I agree. Let me ask you this, bro. Because you actually told me this during the game. You said that, I think you said Vassell and Castle are kind of what you hoped, or hope, Ron and Asar will be as far as two-way play with both guys. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit on what you mean by that? I know what you mean, but for everybody who's here who may not understand what you mean, if you can kind of elaborate on that for us, bro.
Listen, y'all.
Talk about it.
I know we love the gritty, scrappy guys, and the try hard attitude, and we're playing every position, and that's fine. Every quarter, every possession matters. That's cool. Sometimes it helps to have guys that have grit and talent that you don't have to wait on. Now, granted, I'm going to be honest, because I don't watch a ton of Spurs basketball. I don't know how good Castle and Vassell have been prior to tonight, but yeah, please, Sarah, tell me what have they always been like this, or are they just shining today?
Vassell is averaging 26 points a game. Castle is averaging 24 points a game.
They hoopers.
Castle leads as one of the highest leaders in steals. Vassell went 3 for 3 of this. Like, when people were talking today, they're like, "But I'm so scared of Wemby." I'm not afraid of Wemby. I'm afraid of Castle, Vassell, Harper, Keldon Johnson, Julian Champagnie. They can all shoot.
Yes. And they show that. Yes.
They're one of my favorite teams to watch. And I think what prevents them from going all the way, like you said, I'll just say it real quick, is just their youth, because they can fall and they can make mistakes and they can make bad transition plays and stuff like that. Tonight, we made it hard for them. I just want to point out their last 5 of their 8 games before this, they won by scoring over 130 points. So we did hold them to a lower scoring game to their standards.
Right.
But right now they're in an offensive, they're in it, right? Everyone's hitting their shots. They can go down. So, but I just want to mention that because Castle especially is one of my favorite, and Bill and Harper. Usually Wemby isn't even the lead scorer of the game.
That blew my mind. The 3 quarters, he had like 10, 11 points. He was playing good defense, but it was Vassell and Castle hitting corner threes, driving and being secondary creators, taking the pressure off of your superstar to where he don't feel like he has to backpack everything.
Exactly.
And these are the kind of things that, again, I love Ron too. I like Asar too. But you see the glaring difference between the two. People keep saying and stamping Asar as a star level player. And you see, these can be here for 5 to 10 years. Hopefully that's the case.
Right.
Yeah.
But you need to see some flashes like we saw from those two guys tonight because they were the story. Again, I love the way Vassell was playing offensively. And then Castle's defense on Cade. I've always said I've never believed that there's like a Cade stopper or someone that he just has a problem with. But they were just throwing body after body against him. And I was watching like them trying to get Cade the ball in the post. He played him tremendously on defense. And it shows like because a lot of people were upset about Asar's minutes tonight. I don't think the Pistons were a 30-minute night away from Asar's game from winning this game. Like he didn't play that great defensively to me. I think Ron played a really good defensive game and he gave you some good punch offensively, especially in the first half. But again, their best offensive generation comes from transition or if Asar is cutting like off ball for a dunker spot layup. That's cool, but you need to be able to do a little bit more, bro. Like there's some times where like you can scheme up everything. Sometimes you just need a game breaker to say, hey, bro, go make a play. And they have that in guys like Vassell and Castle, De'Aaron Fox, like you said, Dylan Harper, who I love the way he stood up to Cade and played defense against him. And again, we haven't even got to Victor Wembanyama. Like you don't really even have to make him the focal point of tonight. I loved seeing what their guys look like as two-way players. Like I like Asar and Ron's defense, but their offensive deficiencies can be extremely frustrating, and I think people need to start being a little bit more honest about that when they watch their game. The defense is there. I see that, but the offense is leaving a lot to be desired, especially in games like tonight.
And that's what I was gonna say, bro. Because like you look at Wemby, right? Like I think he is definitely to me he's a more offense. What?
There's a bunch of comments in here, so I wanted to clear something up real quick before we go on to the next point because people are asking where I got my numbers from them.
Okay.
It's from the start of the year. They're averaging closer to 14 points and 17 points, but they're both shooting over 40%. So season Vassell are 14. I think I said 24 for Castle, 25 for Vassell. Since the start of the year, they're averaging closer to those. But
Okay, gotcha.
Because people are like, where are you getting these numbers? And so I just want to clear that up so I'm not out here just making stuff up. But I just want to
of course not.
No
of course not. Yeah.
And I'll just quickly say, because I think this is my only point, and then I think you were coming up with a good point, is that when you said that, when I think you told me that you said that you wanted, that's what you expect Ron and Asar to be. Knowing what I know about those two, Ron and Asar not even close. Offensively.
Yeah, 100, not even close. Not even. They were able to bring the ball up, create their own shots, play off ball, score from 3 different levels. Like again, we're still talking about like we were getting but Pistons Twitter. I saw y'all today. Y'all were jumping up and down about Asar's, jump shot during practice.
Oh yeah.
When is that going to translate in games, guys? Like, y'all got to start being real about that. Like, I know a lot of people, a lot of other content creators talk about, if you put him in the dunker spot, like, bro, you got to have more than that, bro. I'm sorry. Like, he's basically a glorified center. If all he can do is screen and roll to the hoop and catch lobs and just score off ball, like, that's not enough. That's not enough for a team that has so many needs in terms of secondary scoring. Because Cade still don't have that guy next to him. They don't have a number 2. He does not have his Robin. And when Duncan Robinson's not hot, when Tobias plays as bad as he did tonight, you see how much they need that extra help in terms of offense. So, again, the holes are glaring. And tonight was a big example of why.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about Castle and Vassell, both those guys you mentioned are two-way players. Like you talked, like we said it earlier, but like we're used to Cade having a sizable advantage just from a size standpoint at his position, right? When you see Cade put guys in jail in the pick and roll, like those guys usually can't get back in front. Those guys usually can't really bother the shot. You saw Castle even at times when Cade would have him on his hip, still from behind, challenge the shot, right? Because he's big and strong. He's 6'5". So I think a guy like that who can also make Cade work offensively, because we saw Cade was in foul trouble all night, right? You saw Castle getting to the rim, scoring. He's big and strong too. So I think that two-way ability, they got a team full of two-way guys. We didn't mention Champagny, who was hot tonight, who couldn't miss a shot from 3 tonight. So they got a lot of guys who can do a lot of things for this team.
De'Aaron Fox is an all-star, and he barely, what did he do tonight? Like, he was cool, but
he's been on the low since these young guys on their spots.
10 points
every time
tonight.
I watch Julian Champagny play, because Julian Champagny is someone that they bring in sporadically. He's a bench player. They're like, tonight he gets minutes. If he misses his first 2 threes, he's back on the bench. I told Duke the minute he made his three, I was like, that's he's gonna make the record. He did.
Yep.
He does not
Yeah.
slow down.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's all I got, man, on those guys. But I think your points are very well taken, Eric. Let's get to Don real quick. Said, by the way, Evie, I love your Twitter X beefs. I'm on your side, brother. Don't let them get to you. True shooting percent.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm on their head, bro. I'm so
true.
tired of the true shooting truthers. Oh my god, the Cade's field goal percent. No, granted,
There we
tonight
go.
it
Need
was
the
horrible.
Horrible.
Tonight he was horrible. I'm not no bail for Cade at all. Like he was really bad tonight. But all these people acting like, oh my god, how could he be shooting? No way he could be an MVP with 46% for the field. Shut your ass up, bro. I try not to cuss on here, but I hate these true shooter people so much. I swear I do, bro. And yeah, line them up. If you behind me or you shoot for me, I'm with y'all, bro. Please.
As you see, bro, you definitely got support over here, bro. You already know what it is, man.
Big love.
All right, bro. Let's pick up. We're at Jalen Duren now, as far as we saw from some of these box score guys. So let's jump to JD. Guys, tonight in this game, Jalen Duren finished with 25 points on 10 for 13 overall, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 14 boards, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, 2 steals in 29 minutes. So, boss, I could get to you first. What did you see from JD in this game tonight?
Yeah, you guys know that I'm usually pretty rough on JD, and I'm still going to be rough on him tonight, even with this amazing stat line. I think he picked it up, but there were a lot of times that I was like, I want Paul Reed back out here. I just thought that there were just some times where he just failed to guard the rim. It really is just, kind of he has 2 steals. His offense, I've said this before, Stu is our defense and JD is our offense. And I think that still applies. And I think there were some games late, some hustle opportunities he could have made. He did start to, grab some rebounds and bring them down with 2 hands. I think he could have gone. His game got progressively better as it went on, is basically what I'll say. But 25 and 14, especially in a game like this, I'm not going to get upset about. But there are a couple of things that I was like, I need him to be a little bit like, I love the first drive of the game. He went right into Wemby, and we didn't see that again.
Yeah.
And it's like, he ended up finishing with 4 fouls, but like some of those were like touch fouls, reach fouls on the perimeter. Like I know that most of them were switches, but he was just on the perimeter too much for me as well. And I just, it was a good JD game overall, but it started really slow. He got better as it went on. He redeemed himself for me over on, but there were a lot of times I was just like, you've got to just be more aggressive, my guy.
I agree. Yeah. Do you think that was more a him thing or more a game plan thing? Because I saw the same thing. First play offensively, he went into the chest of Wemby and scored, and he didn't really get many touches in the first half after that. So
potentially.
So why did they go away from him?
I'd have to rewatch it and see if they tried to shut him down a little bit. But like what we've learned from JD is that he has been able to go against these amazing bigs. And I think the whole Wemby thing and not knowing how we play against him maybe just scared a little bit of everybody. But like he became, some of these points and rebounds were in the last 6 minutes. It's like that's when he was going hard. That's when he got like 2 baskets in a row, a dunk. He was getting to the free throw line. So without that aggressiveness in the last few minutes, his stat line wouldn't look as nearly as this great. I just think early on it's just like I've been saying this whole time, when the whole team, when the team is off, the entire team is off. And that included JD. Like he eventually, like when Paul Reed came on, it was like a burst of energy, the first substitution. That's like how slow JD was for me. It's like I kept wishing for Paul Reed to be out there. Even at the end of the game, when I saw JD about to check in, I was like, why? But why? Because Paul Reed's holding it down to me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can't get, I know I'm hard on him, but there's just sometimes I'm just like, you're bigger. You're right there. Just hold the ball, grab the ball, use your body, get it in the basket.
He had 14 boards.
Run. I know he did. It's the eye test. Look, if I can look at a good box score and a bad box score, and people like don't look at the box score, I'm gonna apply that too. I'm looking at the box score. Amazing. This is fantastic, JD. Thank you. You've redeemed yourself going on. But watching him in the first half was not good for me.
Okay. What about you, E? What'd you see?
Yeah, I agree with one of the comments. I think the early foul trouble kind of negated a lot of the momentum he maybe could have had. He tried shooting some jumpers. He did play a lot outside, and that didn't really, work to his game. 7 offensive rebounds. I really love that. I've always going to love his activity on the offensive glass. for me personally, I love JD. And Sarah, I'm not even mad at you. Like, he's an all-star now. This is a team with championship aspirations. You should be hard on them. There's no problem with that at all.
For sure.
And for me personally, and again, I love JD's game. I personally think he's biting off more than he should be chewing. Okay. Personally, I think he is a guy that should not be like playing as their number 2 scorer. Like, I personally don't think so. I just don't think his game is polished enough for it yet. Like, he still is kind of loose with the ball sometimes. Like the jump shot, I like the confidence, but it's not like he's shooting like 5-6 jumpers a game. It's still a slow work in progress. So it's not like it's like pure at this point. And then even when he was dragging Wemby out to the perimeter, he's so long and big and honestly even deceptively quick for his size. He can still get into the paint as quick as he needs to alter a shot when he has to. So, yeah, I like the box score looks good. I think he was better in the second half, like you said, where even JB commented on it. He said, like, we kind of figured out how to go at Wemby. You cannot go around him. You have to go through him, through his chest, through his face, be aggressive. And we saw that when JD put him on a poster in the fourth. Exactly. But outside of that, again, I like his game. I personally don't think he's a number 2 option. I think I'm gonna keep harping on this, man, because I was still disappointed at what happened with Trajan's comments. Again, you gotta have 2 to tango in a deal to land somebody, but I was kind of discouraged in hearing him say we're gonna just wait and figure it out. While you see other teams going to get these guys and he's not even trying yet, I think it's kind of putting them and other people in positions where they're having to bite off more than they can chew. I don't know if Jalen Duren is a consistent number 2 option right now at this point. And I just think he was a little overwhelmed with, having to go up against Wemby, like the pushing and a lot of Wemby was doing a lot of flailing too. I'll be honest about that. Like, he was flopping a lot. Yeah. And I was shy. I didn't know he had that in his game, but he was doing that a lot, which was kind of frustrating to me. But I personally still think JD is kind of biting off more than he can chew when he's trying to ISO as much as he does and score in positions where I don't think he's as polished as a number 2 scorer should be from how I see it personally.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Go ahead, boss.
Just before you go on, I just want to, give some more guys. Like, JD is very good. There's just something that I'm just like, I know you can do better. And I don't know if it's just a development thing or sometimes I see it and I don't. There's just like, sometimes it's just like, I'm like, oh, JD's got that easy and it doesn't happen. And I love JD. And like I said, I love his game. The 25 and 14 against Wemby is very impressive. His aggressiveness towards the end of the game was very impressive. Maybe it's just something of what Eric did too. Like, I don't want you guys to think that I hate JD because I'm not just sitting here being like, oh yeah, he had a bad game. But like, I know that there's more in him. And when we need it the most, it's like the aggressiveness kind of goes away. Like, why didn't we have that but the foul trouble too. So I don't know. There's just, his mistakes kind of point out a little more. Maybe it is because he is an all-star now. He's been on such a good trend. I've been in his corner. He's been averaging 20-10 games, which is exactly what I wanted from him all season. Like, he's finally there. It's taken this since the new year to get there, to get 20-10s. So he's improving in that aspect. And maybe it was just a little bit of Wemby, but I'm just like, I'm cool with the game JD had. I just know that there's a little bit more in him that we could have seen.
There's a lot more in him. And this is why.
Yeah.
He's 22 years old. So I think that's a big part of it for a lot of people. It's just like he's growing at a rapid level, but we still got to brace ourselves for games. And, like, I'll just say parts of the season where he doesn't play great. Like, young guys, regardless of the talent level, are inconsistent. Like, there's not a lot of guys at 22 who are all-stars, especially big guys. You don't see that a lot, right? So I think I'm going to give him a little bit of grace because for me personally, I just want to see it consistent. I want to see the consistent play across the game, not games where you start off great and you kind of go away and then you come back and then you kind of fade. And I'm not even saying it's his fault because the foul trouble is a thing. Going against Wemby is not anything to sneeze at. But it was like he had 10 and 5 like he did last year, right? So it's just like, for me, it's just the ebbs and flows of a young player. And I think this was just a game where he just has to work on being consistent, whether it's game plan, whether it's foul trouble, whatever it is, just finding a way to be impactful in some way, shape, or form while you're on the court. And I feel like there were periods of time when he wasn't that.
And real quick, I just want to say, like Eric said with the offense, it's the offense I don't have an issue with. I feel like he is attacking the rim. He is getting his shots. He's getting offensive rebounds. There's just something about the defense that lacks. And I think it gets overlooked sometimes because we have Stu to come in and do the defensive things. But like JD's defense is what needs to, and we talked about this last show, like his defense can improve a little bit. And I think it's in moments like this that we're just like, okay, like you're big too. Like you're not 7'5", but he's not getting blocks. He's not doing like his defense is different, and I think that will evolve. He'll be a little bit better of a rim protection too, but he's not a guy that you can't. Like I said, he's our offensive guy. He's who I want on our offensive rim, and Stu's who I want on our defensive rim, kind of thing. I trust them both at both positions, but they have their different strengths.
I think this is good too, and I'll come back to you, Eric. So y'all want him more aggressiveness from him, but he needs to get fed. He can't be aggressive on offense without the ball in his hand. He does need to get better at sealing off, calling for the ball. Yeah, 13 shots isn't a ton of shots. 6 for 13 is great. 13 shots isn't a lot. 25 points on 13 shots is great, actually.
But again, I'm talking about
as
aggressive
well.
on defense. So I think
No,
that's
yeah, I don't disagree with the defense. I'm just saying the consistency on both sides of the ball. I just got to see that more so. But once again, he's 22 years old. And I think that will just come with time. So.
Just through the discussion is kind of where my clarity was of like, oh yeah, like it really is just his defensive aggressiveness that I'm excited to see more of, because I think it's coming and we see flashes of it. Mm-hmm. And tonight it really could have been utilized too. Not just against Wemby, but when you're on the perimeter against a small guard. Yeah, he has 2 steals, but I think those were like they're not blocks, and it's hard to criticize, but it's just something. There's just something that I'm just like, that was just missing a little bit, and I know you can do it, big guy. So.
Last thing too is it's a big difference playing with Tobias Harris as opposed to playing with Isaiah Stewart. I think that's a big part of it too. I think having him on the court, like I said 1,000 times, will help JD to where he doesn't have so much defensive responsibility. When Tobias Harris is your 4, you got to do a lot more. You got to be on that board even more, which can lead to you getting foul calls. You know what I mean? So like it's a domino effect of not having another big out there on the court with you. So that's why I think that's a big part of it. I think we see Isaiah Stewart next to JD. We'll see a different JD defensively because of how much having another big out there will help him. So that's just my take. Go ahead, E.
Yeah, no, I agree with what both of y'all said. I think it's more important for him. I even said this before the season. I think it was on this show. I love what Stu is doing defensively, but I think it's more important for this Pistons defense for JD to be that anchor to lean on. And a lot of times he isn't. Like, it is very inconsistent at times. It's like today he was out of position a lot. I think a lot of guys were out of position. Like Cade was out of position, allowing a lot of corner threes, and JD as well, playing outside and, allowing some guys to, roam and get to the rim without any kind of resistance, I think is a problem for sure. That's just going to have to, at some point, become a more consistent factor because, yes, while the offensive leap has been helpful, I also think teams are learning how to take that away because the Pistons don't have a lot of guys in the starting lineup that have enough gravity where you can have space for guys like JD to operate in the paint. Like, they can take that away. We're seeing the lob threat kind of being taken away a little bit more as the season goes on because they know, we just pack the paint or sink a little bit lower. Cade hasn't been a consistent, I'm go with the true shooting people, but Cade hasn't been a good enough finisher at the rim to take advantage with floaters and to, like, draw more attention away for guys like JD to score. And I think that just makes his job a little bit harder. But I agree with y'all. I think defensively is where they need him most if they're going to take that next step towards, aiming for a championship.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think fair points all around. So
and also incredible double-doubles at the same time. Really good job.
Yeah, we can talk about the good and talk about the bad, right?
Spectacular
doom and gloom. Like
these
they always say, boss, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I've been telling you, I've been wanting 2010s. He's finally started giving them to me, and now they are like, closer to 21-12, like things like that. So this at this age, like this could be his averages, and I'm here for it. So
yeah. All right, guys, we'll leave it there on JD. Let's get to some reserves in this game, boss, and then we can get your thoughts too. Let's start with the guy we just talked about, Paul Reed. Paul Reed, guys. Tonight, guys, in this game, Paul Reed had 10 points on 5 for 8 shooting overall, 0-1 from 3, 5 boards, 1 turnover, a steal, and 2 blocks for 3 stocks in 20 minutes. So, I'll come to you first, bro. What did you see from B-Ball Paul in this game?
He looked ready again tonight. I liked what he brought in terms of his energy on both ends. I even liked him pushing around Wemby a little bit, kind of showing that he's not scared and he wants to, be as productive as he can in 19 minutes, 10 points. I really like that breakaway dunk that he had. I think he got a steal. Then he had a breakaway 2-handed jam. Had a putback slam, I think, as well. I think in the third or fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the energy that we get out of B-ball, Paul. Again, I definitely understand when you mentioned the idea of bringing in or starting Beef Stew so we can get more Paul Reed minutes, and I totally understand. He's a break the glass guy that JB likes to lean on when the Pistons need some energy, and I think he was giving some of that. I think him and Ron Holland, who we're going to talk about, I think they did a good job of trying to add some runs and, giving a different look defensively, because I think they were doing a pretty solid job. It wasn't as obviously as impactful as we've seen like against Toronto or the New York game, but it's still a pretty good game for B-Ball, Paul. I think he did okay.
Yeah. Boss?
Yeah, I think it was just spot on. Like I said, I wouldn't have cared if JB didn't. He had a huge spurt in the fourth, at the end of the fourth, so I understand why he came in. But Reed came in and really just helped with some of the momentum down low. I mean, can't be mad at 5 of 8 shooting either. Just like, our bigs did good tonight. 2 blocks is huge as well. He just was trying. He got called for a couple. Like both of his fouls, I think, were kind of BS. Only 1 turnover. He wasn't able to get as great. I think like he played better defense overall than JD. Wasn't able to get hot on offense. But again, like 5 of 8 is totally fine with me. So just usually we see a little better numbers from him, which is, again, it goes to show just kind of how everybody was a little bit off on the offensive side tonight.
Yeah, I think everybody was kind of affected by their defense. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like I thought Paul Reed played solid, played good, had some good minutes against Wemby, just battle. All those guys are undersized, right? So I think he understands, at least as of right now, how to play better. He seems to be more crafty than JD. Maybe he's got more time in the league. He's a veteran. Maybe that's what it is. He's older. He's not 22. So it just seems like he just is a little bit more crafty around the rim on both sides of the ball, defending him and also offensively just finding a spot. So I thought he was okay. But I thought all of these guys were affected by the Spurs defense. I thought everybody was affected by it. So I can't even really criticize any one player too much, because I thought the Spurs just deserve credit for what they did across the board against this team. I got to give him credit. I thought probably he was okay. It wasn't like he had a great game. He came in, had his moments, was impactful, right? But the Spurs outplayed the Pistons tonight, man. That's what it comes down to for me in this game. And it's okay to say that. It's okay to say that. So yeah, that's all I got on Paul Reed. Let's keep it pushing. Let's go to our guy, Lil Ron Holland. Let's get to him now, man. I think he was the player of the game for the Pistons tonight. Not box score watching, but just as far as the eye test and impact as a whole. Tonight, guys, Ron Holland had 15 points on 5 for 13 overall. 1 of 6 from 3 is not great, but 4 from the free throw line is. 11 boards, which is second to JD tonight. 1 steal and 1 block in 26 minutes. So what you guys see from LeRon Dog Pound Jr. in this game? I'll start with you. I'll start with you, boss. Yeah.
Go ahead,
okay. 1 of 6 from 3 is not really Ron. Like I think he hit his first one and then he missed his second and they were just letting him stay open. So not terribly bad, but it's kind of got like if Duncan hit 1 more 3, if Cade hit 1 more 3, and if Ron hit 1 more of his 3s, we'd be in the game. Like, so it's like, they out hustled us, but I think our shooting was affected. Like definitely by their defense, but also just us not getting some of our shots, even some easy open looks.
Yep.
But Ron's hustle was just incredible. Like I don't know if Eric knows this, but it's Ron's second career double-double, and both times we've lost when he's gotten one. I was just
We got 14 losses. Like, y'all can't get a dub in one of those good games. Come on, man.
It just tells you that that's usually when the starters are struggling. I feel like off the bench too. I want to say I'm just looking at the Spurs. All Spurs starters were in double figures, and none of their bench was. And 3 of our starters were in double figures, and then with B-Ball and Ron in our bench. So I also went to go. I think it goes hand in hand how you said that we got better with our bench, because that's when the Spurs bench came in. Their starters were outplaying our starters for sure. But Ron was just a blast to watch. He really just got the energy going. I called it during the live. I was like, put Ron in, but that goes again to your point, Deuce, about the athleticism. He kind of matched it there. They couldn't stop him because he was beating them. He was one of the guys that they couldn't beat. And I think, and usually Wu is one of those people too, but Wu just had a terrible night. But Ron just really, like you said, player of the game, 15 and 11. That's from a guard. That's incredible.
Yeah.
From a wing.
What you got?
Yeah,
I like
definitely MVP. I love the way Ron was playing today. The 2-and-1s in the first half, back to back.
Yes.
The energy on defense, crashing the glass. He's been really good, I think, all season in terms of crashing the glass. And you know what? I'm gonna even shoot him some bail. Yeah, 1 for 6 doesn't look good.
No.
But I like that he's at least trying.
Shooting.
I don't mind, bro. Give it a shot. See where it goes. You cannot improve if you're not even trying. We keep talking about this, Deuce. I like Ron, and I don't care. Whatever. I'm higher on Ron's development in this position than Asar because he's at least trying to make the steps of improvement. It's not always going to look pretty. He's going to have some tough nights, especially against a team like the Spurs, one of the best defensive teams in basketball. There's no shame in shooting 1 of 6 against a team like that. It's fine, but try. And that's what JB was talking about. People were asking why Asar, didn't play more minutes. And JB said, we just thought we were getting better minutes and we wanted to stick with Ron. And I don't blame him. I think Ron did a good job defensively. I think he gave them a lot more confidence offensively in trying to drive, shooting catch and shoot looks set up from Cade, or even trying to get his own looks. Like, again, you have to be able to take the steps of your development. Like, you can't get a girl's number if you don't go talk to the girl. You can't just go stare at her from the opposite side of the club. You got to go talk to her at a certain point. And it bothers me watching Asar. You go airball. It happens. No, I'm with my friends. I just want to dance. We just want to listen to, Kendrick on our own time. Sorry. It is what it is. It's cool. But you got to try. Like, I'm sorry I'm taking this back to Asar. I know y'all talked about him already. But his development bothers me because he doesn't even try to do the stuff that the teams have invested him in getting better at. Ron is at least trying, so I don't mind him shooting 1 of 6 from 3. It spread out the defense. They tried to collapse on his shooting. It's not like you saw what the defense was doing to Asar. They stepped 6 feet off of him and said, "Do what you want." They were at least challenging what Ron was putting up, and I can respect that. And the defense respected that. That's how you tilt the defense and make them play off balance. You can't impact or change the defense if you're not even trying to look for your shot, man. So I respect what Ron was doing tonight, even if the numbers don't look great.
It's what you always have said. You got to make the defense move. And since he's been here, I remember early last year when he was a rookie, young pup, early on in the season, you would check the box scores 0 for 3, 0 for 2, 0 for 4, 1 for 4, 1 for 5, 2 for 5. He never, there were times when I'd be like, all right, Ron, he's kind of getting a little happy with that jumper. Right. But he's always had confidence. Even when he wasn't shooting a great percentage, he's always had the confidence. If you're open, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make you pay. So I think it's just a mentality thing, bro. I think he just kind of has that. He's always had that confidence. He's never scared. Yeah. And I think we say that with Asar sometimes. It's like, I don't know how much he practices if he's ever going to be able to get over that mental hump and stay over it. Right. Like, what if he improves his jump shot, right, and gets to 30% next year or something like that, right, hopefully, and he has a stretch of 5 games where he's shooting 15%. How is he going to rebound from that mentally? Is he still going to be able to overcome that? Because it's just like either you have the confidence or you don't, regardless of your progression upon it. So I just wonder if Asar is going to be able to get over and stay over that hump if he does get to a respectable percentage. But Ron, you never got to worry about that. He could be 0 for 10, and he thinks, last play of the game, we down 2. Coach, I got it. Like, he's just always ready. And yeah, right, exactly, Tom. He's just a dog. It's just a mentality. Not saying Asar's not, but it's just levels to it, and you feel it when Ron comes into the game. He's coming in looking to cause problems. He's looking for blood. Yes. The way he's defending the perimeter, diving on the floor, he wants to make you uncomfortable. Yeah. If he leaves the game and you're comfortable, he's upset. And we've seen him at times make mistakes and then try to make it up on the defensive side of the basketball. I gotta get a steal. I gotta get a stock, something. But I just like the two-way play. We also want the two-way play. He always brings that two-way play, and you have to at least respect him offensively on the court because he's going to shoot the ball. So I'm with you 100%. E, go ahead.
Like, these aren't 30-year-old veterans. Like, you are allowed to do some stuff and make some mistakes. It's okay. We saw Dennis Jenkins tried to punch on Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
I love that. It wasn't going to happen, but he tried to do it. That's fire to me. Like, Ron is the same exact way. He don't go in there, you know, it don't seem like he's scared to make mistakes. Even when he does, and even when he does get out of control, he's still going to go with the same energy of, I'm trying to make winning plays to help this team, you know, take a step in the right direction. Like, it drives me crazy watching Asar hit that spin move and then get caught in the paint. Then he turns it over by looking for a cute pass, and then you turn it over to the savvy defense that the Spurs have. These are young players that are trying to learn and take steps of growth. And you're gonna have to make these mistakes. And even again, someone asked, is it gonna hurt if Ron is shooting like this in the playoffs? 100%. But guess what? We're not in the playoffs yet. So you need to do this stuff in the regular season so you can be prepared by the time April gets here. So I don't have a problem with him making these mistakes. Like, yeah, is it ugly? Would you rather see a few go down? Of course. But he also did enough good things to where those misses don't make his game. Like, again, to hell with true shooting people. Like, I don't care. You can do other things in the game that impact winning outside of just being an efficient shooter. So I don't care about him shooting 1 of 6 at all. I hope he does it. I don't say I hope he does it again, but I hope he stays confident in trying to build the confidence and the repetition to become the better shooter that this basketball team needs.
And we've talked about that.
Go ahead, boss.
We talked about that before too, Juice. It's not disrespect towards a star. I just think they have different learning paths. I think Ron is just one of those guys that he wants to pick up a skill right away and will keep working at it. And that's just the way it works for him. And I think a star, obviously he wants to improve, but I could see Ron, you know, improving faster than Asar just in the way that they play their game and just the way that the risk that they take. I'm not saying that either one of them is going to hit their ceiling. They just might have different timelines to when that ceiling is. And right now, Ron is just showing just oozing confidence. And that is a huge part of what gets you into it, because we also mentioned that 1 of 6 is a lot, but he's been great in his decision making. The other night,
no turnovers.
We saw him. He made a 3 and then he had the ball and he could have taken it. He said, "Nah, I'm not feeling it," and he dribbled it back out and he let Cade set it up. So he's making the right decisions. And so tonight he obviously felt like he could make those threes. And I do think that he's better at the top of the key. He's been catching more corner ones, but I think he needs the backboard right now. Because we've seen him bank it in. His air balls have been in the corners when he goes too far. I think right now he needs the backboard to develop that. That's not an issue either. But I think he's getting stuck in the corner sometimes. Like, I would say 3 of those 6 were in the corner.
Let me ask you guys this, because I was actually going to ask this question, a devil's advocate question regarding this conversation, and Kevin asked it. It says, do you think it's because he's deferring as a starter, whereas Ron is coming in to provide a spark with the bench mob? Do you think the role being more defined for Ron plays a difference as opposed to Asar just trying to find his, or do you think not the case? E, what you think, bro?
I don't think so at all, because this team still needs offensive help regardless. Like, you don't have enough consistency from the bench unit or the starters. Like, you know what K gonna give you. JD's still getting there. Tobias has been good, but he can come and go sometimes. Duncan can be hot or cold sometimes. And then Asar is just kind of there. And no, I don't think it should be a role thing at all, especially considering the skill sets that Asar has. Like, he is way too talented and way too athletic to shoot the ball, 6 times tonight? Like, that's not acceptable, bro. Ron shot it 13 times. We didn't see 1 3-pointer. We didn't see, like, the only jump shot he ever is comfortable is pushing off is that little midi that's directly in front of the rim at, like, maybe 10 feet away. Like, bro, you gotta give something else, man. Again, even if you're missing, again, the goal is to make the defense respect you. Start there at the very least. You're not gonna be Steph Curry out the gate, but find a way to make the defense respect you, and you'll see things open up for this offense altogether.
So I have a quick question, because I see a couple of comments in here too. Ron should come off the bench. Say we do go out and we get a guy like Trey Murphy, and instead of coming in for Tobias, what if he came in for Asar and Ron came off together? But we would need a scorer on the second at least.
Yep, you would still need that.
That takes away scoring. So
what about Ron at the 2?
But with Asar 2, I mean, starting or off the bench?
Starting.
Run off the 2 and then Duncan off the bench as a shooter. I mean, it gives some balance. It's not a bad idea.
Is this still in a scenario where we get Trey Murphy? Because then I would have Tobias come off the bench too for scoring.
No, I just meant for now, just Asar, because, you know, like, I don't know if that even works, because that limits your shooting. You know what I mean? That's why we don't see a lot of 9 to 5 off the bench.
Especially if you want
yeah, go ahead.
too big is what I'm thinking. Like if you want the Duren and 2, because here I'm thinking Duren's 2, Cade, Trey, and then maybe a star would thrive then, or maybe Ron. I'm just thinking
it's hard for me with the trade conversation because I'm gonna get my hopes up and I'm gonna just be
I know.
Yeah, the comment's funny.
If it don't happen.
Because we like them when they're together, but we like the spark that Ron brings off the bench. And we haven't seen Asar come off the bench, and now people are questioning if he would, maybe his aggression and his confidence would come off of a bench position. We can't say it wouldn't because we haven't seen it. Just like we can't say that Tobias would be better off the bench because we haven't seen it. So I was just thinking, you know, I just feel like Ron and Asar right now together, as much as they would be really fun, unless one of them does develop a shot consistently, they can't be out there together long enough, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
I think your point E is valid though. Is just as far as just being fearless, just not being afraid. I wonder if somebody wanted to ask you E, if when you're in those practices, those guys are getting up shots. What does it look like? Like, does it look like one guy is way ahead of the other? Does it look like they're both consistently getting at least some level of confidence in their form? Like, what's it look like from what you see, from what you can see when you see those guys working out together, getting shots up, if anything?
Guys, it looks a lot like what you see in the game.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to y'all. Like, again, Ron, now Freddie V is very hands-on with both of them, but you just see some things clicking with Ron. It's like, oh, that's like, okay, cool, I can try that. You see a lot of things changing on a weekly basis with Asar, from free throws and three-point shooting. So, yeah, I definitely think Ron is definitely further along. Again, from a confidence standpoint, like Ron is getting to a point where he's even putting the ball on the floor and then pulling up for jumpers. Like, that's a sign of a step in the right direction in itself. Like, yeah, it's 100% what you see in the game. Like, Asar is just... Again, it looks good in some of the standstill, like, shadow boxing when you're just shooting by yourself, but it's got to translate at some point, and I just don't see enough of that right now. And I think that's kind of in practice as well with the Pistons too.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, the only way to really get confidence is to get them up during the game. Yeah. So it's kind of like defeating the purpose of even getting them up in practice if you're not really getting them up in the game. I agree with you there, bro.
I got one more question for Eric real quick. Eric, what if Asar never got that mentality to shoot it? Do we trade him? I think it's a little...
the wrong person that question.
I think that's a little too black and white.
Drink some water.
You
know what? I'm going to answer it. I don't care. I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired. Yeah, I'm going to answer it because I'm tired of people, like, just lying, bro. Like, I keep hearing people, and again, I have respect for Asar. It's not even like I'm trying to pile on him. I'm piling on the stuff I keep seeing online. I'm tired of people calling him, like, the second best player on the team. Like, you didn't just see Jalen Duren become an all-star. No, I'm sorry. I like Asar a lot. I think he has a role that you can build on. But if you could trade and flip him for someone like a Trey Murphy, I absolutely would do that. Like, be for real. Asar's defense is cool. Do you think he'll take the steps further along enough to where he could be a complimentary scorer to the level of somebody like Trey Murphy? I don't think so.
No.
Like, and again, granted, that's an unfair ask for sure. But let's say if he gets, so like in a perfect, like next year, let's say he does take a step forward and he's, I don't know. I don't even have a name for him. It's his limitations offensively are so drastic. I think people undersell it a lot. I don't look at Asar as an untouchable piece on this team. I like him a lot. I think if you tinker with a few things and put him in the proper spots, then sure. But I don't look at him as an untradeable, untouchable player on this team. I don't. That's me personally. I don't.
You feel like if we had more offense in that starting group, he would fit better? Because I do.
Yes, absolutely. But the unfortunate, like you said, it's just like Tobias can be up and down, Duncan can be up and down, JD can be up and down, and even Cade sometimes when he gets stifled and there's a lot of defense around him. Like, unfortunately, some people are going to have to step up and give some help offensively because, like, Duncan's not a part of a 5-year window. Tobias is not a part of a 5-year window. If Asar is going to get paid this offseason to be a part of a 5-year window, he has to get better offensively immediately. Like, I don't understand why people give so much grace of, oh, he could. I've seen people tell me if he never can shoot a 3 in 2 years, and I'll be fine with it. All right, well, you're stupid then. I'm sorry. He has to take some kind of steps to help this team because, again, you see how bad and how glaring it can be in losses like these to serious contending teams, man.
Okay, y'all heard it, man.
Yeah, I'm not taking no prisoners today, man. I'm mad, bro. I'm sorry. I'm just angry, bro. I'm not playing.
I would say too. I mean, I agree with that, but I do agree that if we had another guy that he can outlet to, who his steals and defense would benefit, like another shooter, then he has a better fit for this team. But if he's who we build around and we expect, and we're like, we need your offense, then his offense needs to appear.
Because I'm just thinking, like, in line with what he was saying as far as JD biting off more than he can chew because he's not a number 2 option. It's like, you know what I mean? It's the kind of a domino effect because we just don't have enough offense and it's just affecting Asar more because he's just more limited offensively than a guy like JD who also was biting off more than he can chew. So I think that it tracks. You know what I mean? I think it just tracks all the way through. So good point. Let's get into some quick super chats, guys, and then we will keep it going. Let's go to Eastside. Meech says, when Asar said Amin was the aggressive child, I didn't expect the same dog we see in Ron. I mean, it's tough, man, because I don't know how accurate that is. I mean, we talked to his brother Troy. He said they both like that, but at least on the court, you was there for the conversation too. We was all talking to Troy. At least on the court, though, it does look like Amin is just more aggressive. I don't know if it's because he is used to playing point guard and Asar was playing small forward when they played before they came here. I don't know, but it's just a mentality. It's just like how Ron has. It's just a mentality to go out and kill. Go out and kill. No Mr. Nice Guy, just go out and kill. I want to embarrass you. I want to put you in the rim. I want to put you in a poster. I want to turn you over. Every play, I benefit and I'm happy by making sure that you don't score, that whatever. So go ahead, E.
I just want this on the record because Trevor, I see you. Yeah. Make sure y'all hear me and understand me. I'm not saying trade Asar. That's not what came out of my mouth. I don't know what you just heard, but let me clarify. Someone asked me if I would for a certain player. Like, for example, there are certain names. Like, let's say the Hawks wanted to bust down a roster because they just weren't happy with being in the purgatory space they in. If there was a chance for you to get Jalen Johnson, but you had to trade Asar Thompson to get him, would you do it?
Yeah.
That's my point. So no, I'm not saying throw Asar out and get him out of here. That's not what I said. Okay. What I am saying is you need a little bit more from him. And if there was an opportunity to get somebody that can give you two-way production, because JB Bickerstaff likes two-way players, not a guy that's really good on one end that can't really do enough on the other. You need guys that impact both sides of the floor, especially when your franchise player needs that help badly. If that opportunity arises, I would listen. I'm not saying trade him. I'm not saying he needs to go. That is not what came out of my mouth. For anybody that's watching and paying attention, I just want that on the record. Right. I'm simply just keeping an open mind because of what we see on nights like tonight and other nights that we've seen throughout the season.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, we talk about two-way play with guys like Duncan Robinson. Like the reason we know he's a sniper. Right. But he wasn't on the, he was struggling early on, and he wasn't playing at times because he wasn't given the two-way play on the defensive side of the basketball. So it's got to be the same on the offensive side too. You got to be able to get both sides for sure.
And the best thing that could happen for us is to be able to find someone that can help produce on offense, where Sar's defense can stay in reign above, and he can just be a fantastic, amazing defender, because those players do exist. Where it's just, but if the team is saying, hey, like we need you to be, which is what they kind of started with. They said that he was going to take more mid-range shots. They said he was going to be a main ball handler. They said he was going to have more offensive responsibilities. Right. So we need to see that upticking from here on out, basically. Mm-hmm. And me and Deuce get frustrated too, just sometimes with some of his baskets. They're like, it's like, just finish it with two hands. Just like I like how guys rebound with two hands. Finish your offensive with two hands, so you're not, missing a layup because you went in softly. Like you have the athleticism. That's just wanting to show a little bit more. Like we know that he can't, even if he's not hitting mid-range or threes, he can definitely be more impactful offensively just by being more aggressive in his decisions overall. That's where we're at.
We will leave it right there, guys. We'll leave it right there. Coming back to Ron, thought he played great. So with that, guys, any more super chats? Okay, Mouser says, man, just imagine how incredible Pistons will be next season. Amazing too. I agree. I agree. I do understand the balance of now versus later, and you don't want to just stand pat. I do get it, but the window is nothing is guaranteed. I got to put that out there. Nothing is guaranteed, right? but I just don't want people to put all their chips in the basket for one season.
Right.
Don't forget what Trajan said to start the season. This is an evaluation year. Don't throw all your chips in there just because we're ahead of schedule. Don't minimize the window for 1 to 2 years instead of 4 to 5 because of one season. So nobody here is saying that, but I just don't want everybody to get hung up and feel like the sky is falling because of one game and all these different things. Bro, we got a long way to go with this very young team.
And just real quick, that's like last season after we didn't want to trade anybody. After our part, we were like, no, we got to keep this together. And we would have. The only guy we re-signed back was Paul. If Beasley was still available, we wouldn't have signed Dunk. We may have not signed LeVert either. We don't know. But it would have been the same group. So, and now this year, because it's an evaluation year and we're seeing what's happening, we're like, okay, now I can see where we need to improve. People might be like, we should have made moves after last season, but that's not what last season I would have been mad if they made a big move too, because it's like, but these guys, we just are getting to know them, and now we're seeing them. All of them have strengths, but we're seeing we have weakness as a team. So we're already surpassing. I mean, we're definitely. I feel like we're definitely going to at least get to the second round of the playoffs. So, but yeah.
What you see, E? What's up?
Comments, Wildens.
Is it? Should I throw it up or no? Is it going to cause an upward? All right, I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it to your discretion.
I see you though, Macklemore. I see you. Let's keep it moving.
Oh, you can't say that and then tell me not to put it up here.
You're right. I just messed it up. My bad.
It's all good. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it anyway. This
okay.
is the last
You're right. I didn't say it. That's fine. I didn't say it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. Let's see what he said. I'm not saying trade him. I'm just saying I'm seeing Ben Simmons, Asar could. Now I see why you didn't want to put up here. I'm just saying I see Ben Simmons, Asar could become very similar to that.
I'm not gonna say that.
I won't go that far.
Ben Simmons looks broken. Asar looks like he's just lacking confidence.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with Ben Simmons. I'm not gonna say Asar is broken, but no. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
Yeah. No. Okay. All right. Let's keep pushing, guys. Let's go to Karis LeVert in this game, man. Karis LeVert, guys. Karis LeVert, guys, tonight had 5 points on 2 for 4 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, 1 board, 1 assist, 4 turnovers, 1 steal, and 1 block for 2 stocks in 21 minutes. I'll come to you first, E. Karis LeVert, man, what'd you see in this one, man? Wasn't great.
He's driving me crazy, man. Listen, I did not expect. I think we talked about this. I think we talked about who was going to have a bigger impact between Duncan and Karis, and I thought it was going to be Karis. I thought, based on what JB sold this team in terms of his ability to, be a floor spacer in terms of knocking down open shots, creating his own shot, playing defense, playing as a backup point. We're not seeing that right now, man. We're just not. And I said it when I was watching the game with a couple of the other reporters. Like, he dribbles way too much to do nothing with it. It drives me absolutely insane. He will just pound the air out of the ball, try to drive the baseline, try to find somebody, and he just throws it out of bounds or throws a bad pass or just gets a bad chuck up. Like, it drives me crazy. Like, it's really disappointing to see that he was supposed to be the veteran, like, scoring, like, balance for this team, and we're not seeing that at all. Like, it's been really disappointing to see what he's given. I don't think he's been terrible defensively. I think he's actually been kind of underrated, but offensively he's supposed to be his calling card, especially when that's the area that this team needs the most help. And he has been extremely, I don't even want to say underwhelming. He's just been disappointing in terms of what his output was. Tonight was not good. I mean, again, I don't even want to say I would want him to shoot more. He only shot 4 times, but again, a lot of the shots that he's getting aren't even quality looks. The turnovers he's, surrendering just look worse and worse every time. I'm really disappointed in what we're seeing in Karis LeVert, man. I didn't expect it to look this bad with this basketball team.
Yeah, go ahead, boss. What you got?
Yeah, so Eric's taking the overall approach, and I'm taking it from the last 5 games. He's been settling in nicely. In this game, he just fell back to his old ways. The last 5 games, I've been really impressed with his defense. I still was impressed with that tonight. He still shot 50%, 2 of 4. Like, we never see him go 1 of 11. We never see him go 1 of 9. Like, the last few games, he hit his first basket tonight, and I thought that was a good sign because the last few games, he's been playing well, but his shots were off, and then he would change it to assists. He would change it to defensive plays, steals, and then his shot would get going. Tonight, his shot just could not get going. But I agree with the dribbling aspect, but I just complimented him last time on the Bulls. I think his assists that he finds when he does find guys under the rim, he finds them so great. So that's like kind of his comfort zone. He like dribbles down and then he's able to find, that's where he assists well. So the last 5 games, he's looked really better. Again, not like Eric was saying, he's like just in terms of what this team needs overall, has not hit that mark at all. But I'm just going game by game. This game was not. A lot of people said not good, not bad. He had a lot of highlights that were the turnovers took away from it. Otherwise, I think he had good defense. He was 2 for 4 shooting, and he got a steal, a block. Just made some good defensive plays as well, but the turnovers were definitely weighing on him. I'm not, I didn't love his game tonight, but hopefully he can just bounce back because he has been kind of a little bit more reliable, I would say, not in the role that we wanted him for, which was going out there and being a second scorer for us, but more so he was making nice assists, had nice looks, great defensive plays. He was looking a little bit more comfortable the last few games since deadline, and now it's kind of reverted back. But I'm just going to leave it as not his best, not his worst. I think you take away the turnovers, and it was an okay game.
I'm kind of in the middle. I'm with you, E, as far as the disappointment, because I thought when those guys both came here, he was going to be the more impactful player on both sides of the basketball. And I think defensively, he's pretty much been solid all year. And I hear you, boss, because I agree with you. The last 5 games before tonight, he'd been pretty good, post trade deadline and stuff like that. But for what we expected, it's hard for me to hang my hat on a 5-game span of good games when we're close to the end of the season. 25 games away from the end. It's hard for me to say, well, he played good. I hear you, but it's just like for me, what I expected, it's hard for me to be like, well, he played good over that 5-game stretch. Like, he's a vet. So it's like, for me, it's just like, I thought he was bad tonight. I thought the 4 turnovers were, you can't have 4 turnovers, especially they were unforced turnovers. Like, one of them, he just dribbled the ball off his foot out of a timeout. Like, you can't do that. And one thing Eric always says is you expect your vets to be the ones to settle the game down, to take care of the basketball, to not hurt you, a la Javonte Green, for example, as far as just on the court play, right? And I feel like too often he just doesn't seem to know his place in the offense. It's just like he's just kind of out there just trying to whip something up, trying to make something happen, but it doesn't look fluid. It's like he's just dribble, dribbling out of bounds, hoping something's going to be there, not really orchestrating anything, not running any sets, not trying to make anything happen. It's just like he doesn't seem to have a plan a lot of times offensively. And that's the problem for me. Defensively, he's been solid. He had a nice block on the perimeter 3 on De'Aaron Fox, got his hands on some balls, but I just think there's not much flow. And that's why I want to see Danis Jenkins out there with him, because he's not a primary creator. He's got to have another guy out there. So whether it's Cade, whether it's Danis, you got to have another guy out there so he can be a secondary playmaker as opposed to being a lead guy.
Just real quick, and I agree, because we, overall, I've said the same things. LeVert was someone I was very excited about. He hasn't lived up, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's on our team. In these past 5 games, he was doing really well. But he was brought in before Danis. He was brought in for Cade to be a primary ball handler, and we've talked about he's looking better when he's not. He's looking better when they give him and he's able to catch and shoot or maybe take a couple dribbles, but he's not the one calling the plays or trying to figure it out. For some reason, that overwhelms him, and that goes into the dribbling too. So I just think he is, I think it's just like I saw everyone in here. He's the first person people blame when we lose. He's the first person, but everyone was bad tonight. And it's okay to say that about Karis. Karis was bad tonight, but so were other people. So don't put it all on his back. But yes, we wish that he could.
We're on Karis now. So it's like, we got to talk about Karis now.
I agree.
She's right, though. I get the point.
From the start, you roll up the first 3 ones or get Karis off this team. Like, it's like, but it wasn't just him. He's just more noticeable. But the turnovers were bad. I'm just saying it both ways because this is how I do with everybody. Like, outside of the president. And so hopefully this was just, hopefully he gets back into the trend of being more, not being as, being more helpful than hurtful. Is he gonna be the guy who scores 20 points for us when Cade doesn't? No. We've learned that this season. I don't see him coming back next season either. But he's been impactful in more positive ways lately, and I want that to reoccur going forward. And but he feeds poorly when we're doing. It's hard because we've been doing good even when he's bad, but he's like extra bad when we're bad. It's like
I understand what Sarah's talking about. Yes, I do think he has been bad this season, but do I think he is like, yes, a lot of people hold him as the number one. As we were doing with Ivy as well when he was having games that weren't so great. Is he the reason they're losing these games? No. Is he the biggest problem to their issues? No. But what Deuce said is extremely important, because when you looked at Dennis Schroeder last season when he came in, when you saw Tim Hardaway Jr., when you saw Beasley, even Tobias now with his, back down half court offense, they're filling in specific roles and they're adding in value to exactly how you need them to do. He doesn't have one thing where he's like, okay, well, if we, spread him out here, he's reliable on corner threes, or if we put him here, he can blow by such and such in a pick and roll. There is nothing that we can rely on with him that he's been consistent at with this offense. Defensively, again, I think he's been very underrated, but offensively, there's no calling card that he's brought to this team, and I think that's the biggest problem, because that was the biggest thing. Again, JB sold on the defense. Oh, he can be a backup point guard. He can do this. But scoring was your number one thing we expected, and that has not been there with him this season at all.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Completely.
That's where I'm at. That's kind of what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, and that's where I'm at too. I'm not. People always come at me because they think I'm defending LeVert. I have positive things to say about everyone on this team. I'm not just going to sit here and talk trash about LeVert after every loss. Sorry, I'm not going to do it, but I'll tell you when I think it's bad. But I'll also tell you that just go back and watch. The last few games he's been better than, he's stepped up a little bit more, and I was just hoping that the trend continued. But yeah, absolutely bad game from him tonight, but not the reason we lost.
So I'm just a little bit concerned about him, because when you get to the playoffs, you gotta be consistent in your role. Period.
Agreed. Completely.
Right. So that's my thing. It's like, if I'm hoping these last few weeks, months going into the playoffs, he can find that. It just hasn't really been there. Early this season, we were saying that it was inconsistency as far as availability. Well, he's playing now. So now it's more so about on-court play. We need that same consistency. But my question is this. Do you think, guys, at some point soon, we just brought in Kevin Huerter. We asked before, guys, about who those backup minutes should go to. Do you still feel as if you would play Caris LeVert over Kevin Huerter at this point as we get closer to the playoffs? Or are you kind of hoping that Kevin Huerter can be the guy that can stretch the floor, be solid defensively, and kind of return to that off-ball connector that the Pistons could use in that second unit?
I'll say I would put Sass before either of them.
Or Sasser. That's
I don't
another
care
option.
about his guys. I would put Sass in for more valid minutes. But and then just real quick to that too, dudes. I know that the past few games too, like we both spoke how we need to see more of Caris, but he was on the uptick. Like we were looking more positively towards, because you said yourself about Ivy, like give it till March. And Caris, and we talked about it, Caris was kind of on that trend. We're like, okay, well, if this is how the last few games, you're like, if this is how he's playing, I'm not too mad about it in March.
Right.
If this is how he's playing, I'm mad about it.
Right.
But hopefully he's like, no, I got to get back into what was happening since deadline. And then you're not too upset about it. Yep. But anyways, right now I would put Sass. I still love LeVert's defense, but offensively, Huerter, in the very short minutes that we've seen him, moves fantastically off ball. And he's been able to secure offensive rebounds, get mid-range shots. So if he's able to give us a better offensive output when we have guys out there like Ron and Wu and Asar that can help on defense, then I would pick him too. But for me, first, I would pick Sass off the bench to come in at that position.
What about you, E? What you think?
Yeah, I'm honestly at this point, I wouldn't even be against Huerter kind of getting some burn and getting to some of those minutes. Again, it hasn't been enough consistency from LeVert to buy him that, that faith. Again, we're buying it. We're basing it off of what we've seen through the pass of his career, not what he's done this season. And I think that's a big problem. So yeah, I agree. I think Sass has kind of done a lot, not a lot, but I think he's done enough to buy himself some opportunities, because he's been used as a break the glass guy too, like Paul Reed. When he's been thrown in and they need some shots, even his defense, I think, has been a lot better than people are giving him credit for. So I wouldn't mind that, just to kind of give a little bit more spacing and even more for Huerter as well. Again, I agree. I think he does move well without the ball. And when you have Dennis Jenkins in there with him, who's, been a blur and has done a really good job of setting guys up for open looks, I think, Huerter could hopefully find a rhythm in that spot, because like for what LeVert's doing, he's just dribbling possessions away. And
Yeah.
like when people talk about, yes, so like his turnover numbers may not be super high, but bad shots to me also are the equivalent to turnovers. Like if you're chucking up bad shots and wasting the air and wasting the shot clock, that's just as bad as a turnover to me. So I wouldn't mind seeing Herter get some of those minutes, to be honest, at this point.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at too, honestly. Like I feel like Sass is definitely the better offensive player, but I just feel like Herter is a better connector and fits better scheme wise as far as movement.
Right.
That fits this team better, right? Because we know Sass is a bucket, but I don't think the Pistons want guys who are just breaking guys down one-on-one, and you got 4 of the guys just ball watching, right? I don't think that really is what they're looking for. Not taking away from the talent, but I just think Herter fits a little bit better in a defined role, Eric, like we talked about with Karras not having that defined role.
Right.
I feel like Herter would be able to find that better than what Karras is giving us right now. Plus, hopefully, if he can knock down a few shots, that will help too. So just want to get you guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah,
All right.
Wait, I just have a real thing to say to Chris real quick, very nicely. Boss, it's definitely all love, but how you're going to take up for Karras and take a dump on JD. I said negatives and positives about both players. That's what I did. So if you're focusing on one thing, that's what it is.
Well,
Boom.
yeah, we'll leave it there. I'll argue with Boss later, like we always do.
He always argues with me about JD's defense, and then he'll bring up on the show, and JD's defense, like we said, is lackluster. I'm like, that's my line.
Yeah. See how he's stepping on her toes. Yeah. All right, we'll leave it there, guys. Let's go to Dennis Jenkins tonight, guys. Tonight in this game, Dennis Jenkins finished with 7 points on 3% shooting, 0 of 2 from 3, 102 from the free throw line, 3 boards in 21 minutes. I'll come to you first, Bob. What'd you see from Tink?
You say boss?
Yeah.
Bad game. From
That was
Dana.
bad?
Yes.
That was underwhelming. And okay, go ahead. Why? Tell me why.
I mean, I think some of his shots. Let me refocus. Not bad, but like off again. 2 games in a row. It seems like he kind of goes on these 2 or 3 game off split. So hopefully it's back by OKC. But the shooting wasn't there. No turnovers, which is awesome. No assists though either. We just need more from him. But he also didn't get. It was weird that Karras came in instead of him. I was expecting him off the bench first. I think I question why, because also you brought up the athleticism thing, like how, Tobias struggled and stuff. Like why didn't Danis get more minutes? I'm actually kind of surprised that he played 21. It felt like less. So
he wasn't as impactful.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to say. So less impactful. I wouldn't say straight up bad, but like hasn't been where these past few games. It hasn't been the Danis that we know, and I'm not really sure. I think the effort is there, but yeah, because 3 of 10, so he is trying to get his shots and everything. He missed a couple at the rim. It just, again, just like everybody else, it just wasn't going in. It just, like I said, it feels like when everyone's cold. There's really not a guy that stands out enough that's like, well, we were cold, but this guy was hot. That hasn't happened with us recently. So that's what I'll say about Danis. And you guys know I love him. I want his jersey, but he's a guy that, again, we need his offensive help out there as well. In terms of, like, he does feed. It also goes to kind of cold we are because he wasn't making his shots and he has 0 assists. That's just un-Danis-like.
What about you, E?
I kind of see it a little different. I think it was a little underwhelming, but I think he was taking good shots. I don't think he was like forcing any terrible looks. I just think the Spurs were just prepared. I think they were just a better team. They're a big team, and Danis is a little guy. I think, he had to shoot over a lot of length today. His speed is still unmatched. I think he did a really good job of getting to the hoop a couple times. Again, I really wanted to see him put that dunk down because even if they would have lost, I was ready to hit that Denzel meme. I'm leaving here with something. I was ready to get that bug off for him. And I didn't think he played bad. Again, I just think a lot of his looks weren't really going in. I think he's solidified and showed that he is a consistent and reliable piece in terms of being a backup point guard. And I like the way he plays with Cade Cunningham on the floor too, especially when they're in situations where, again, they like to lean on Asar to bring the ball up and kind of give as an extra ball handler. I think Danis does a little bit better of a job than that because he is a actual scorer and a threat from 3 levels as well. So Again, I personally didn't mind his game. Again, it was certainly underwhelming just because there was no playmaking and, he didn't score to the volume that we're used to seeing. But I thought he took some pretty good shots. I don't think he was out of control. I don't think he, was, trying to play to the beat of his own drum. I think he played within the flow of the offense and the team pretty well. Shots just weren't going in, and that kind of happens sometimes.
I have a quick question. Because just Eric wasn't here for when we talked about Tobias. Do you think Tobias was taking bad shots too? Or do you think he was just also cold?
I think he was taking some bad shots. I think he was taking a couple bad shots, but again, I really think that everyone was just well defended. They didn't have I tweeted this in the first half. In the third quarter, it seemed like the Spurs were getting open looks at will. The Pistons were fighting tooth and nail to just find an open look. Again, to hell if they were going in. They weren't even able to get an open look against this defense. The Spurs were just all over the place. So, yeah, I definitely think Tobias wasn't taking some good shots, but I just think the Spurs were just well prepared, and they have enough depth to kind of match the limited offense that the Pistons had to, go against a team like that.
Yeah, that's how I felt too, because we saw many times where you see multiple passes from the Pistons, right? Like the ball was hopping. And the rotations defensively for the Spurs was still there. Like there still wasn't an open shot.
Over
it was crazy.
them, bro. Yes.
Interior passing, boom, behind the back, Paul Reed, boom. A guy is still there. So that's why I'm like, sometimes you guys tip your cap, bro. Just
I really like this team. I was upset to see them lose, but I like the way that the Spurs play. That's a good basketball team that you guys watched today.
They're fun.
They are a good basketball team.
So I just wanted, and I know we'll get Deuce's thoughts on Danis too, but I just wanted to reiterate that too, because I think not a lot of guys tonight took bad shots. They just took hard shots, and none of them were falling. And even when they looked like their usual shots, they were just hard for everyone involved. So
I think those factors are fair. I think the fact that we haven't seen this defense before, we haven't seen this team together before. Eric, I was saying this is the first time these two teams have been at the top of the conference in 20 years. So there's a lot of feeling out going on right now.
True.
And it's hard to make a lot of adjustments on the fly, as far as like with how gauging Wemby's wingspan at the rim. Like it's a lot of stuff on the fly you got to try to figure out. And I think now on the flip side, there is more film now on Danis Jenkins. I think at the beginning of the year, we saw him shoot out of a cannon. And there wasn't nobody looking at Northern City Cruise film like that. Right? They were looking at NBA film. Once he got here, he's here now. Oh, he's part of their offense. He's doing this. Oh, okay. Let's lock in. And when you play as well defensively as they do, if you got the personnel that they do, and you got big guys, big wing defenders who can move their feet like they do, I can see how you had a bad game. It wasn't like he had a bunch of turnovers. He had no turnovers, right? He just didn't shoot the ball well. His shot wasn't falling. The shots were tough shots, and the teams are scouting him now. So now he's got to make that next jump, make the adjustment to their adjustment, and I think he will. He's still only 30 games into the NBA as an impact player for this team. So a lot of room for growth. It's the right mindset. It's just it's just one of those games.
He put in effort. There was a lot of effort tonight. There really wasn't anybody, no matter, how you guys think about my criticisms for everybody, the effort was there. It was there. And sometimes there could have been more, but overall, it was there. They just wore us out. And somebody mentioned too, OKC would be the same, but this is probably why the Spurs defense, I think, is just wildly underrated. And it's because we haven't seen it against, OKC is first in defensive, we're second, and Spurs are third. That's surprising me, because it's almost, if I had to pick between those, I would go third them, second us. Or sorry, first them, first Spurs, second us, third OKC. I think that the Spurs defense, and we got a taste of it, like you said, it's not even, I think, OKC, if we could make some of those shots, and again, this is our first time seeing them, and I think we will figure out screens, we will figure out some things to get guys open. If Cade was able to make more shots in the paint, more guys would have collapsed on him and doubled him, it would have been a way. But the Spurs transition defense is insane.
It's a bad matchup, man. At least right now, because the Pistons' bread and butter got taken away.
Yeah.
We saw them get stops at times. You saw them turn them over at times. But off the miss, you saw at least 3-4 guys back every single time.
And the Spurs,
and that was the difference for me.
The Spurs are fifth in the league in turnovers. So they were also just on it tonight. They took care of the ball. And their weaknesses weren't weak tonight. So their strengths, and then they didn't let us take advantage of any of their weaknesses. They were hitting their shots. They weren't turning the ball over. So,
Eric.
Yeah, real quick, then I'll let you go on, Danis. But this is the one time, and I saw Cade mad frustrated, but I couldn't shoot him no bail. Like, this wasn't a game where he was getting hacked and like he just couldn't get it. Like, nah, bro. There was a lot of plays where you weren't getting fouled, Cade. You were just getting D'd up on by 4 or 5 different guys. Like, it just happened, bro. Sorry. Like, this wasn't a game where he was getting disrespected on the whistle. Like, he was just getting frustrated and getting. And again, I'm not even mad at the physicality either, because we saw Wemby getting pushed by everybody. We saw a lot of guys getting grabbed on. I took a video and tweeted of JD and Wemby literally pushing and jockeying each other for position. So this wasn't a game where like the Pistons were just like not outmatched, but just, or unfairly played. Nah, you were just beat by a better team tonight. That's what happened, and that's what we saw.
I liked it. Like, I like when they swallow the whistle. I like when the refs are not a factor. Right? Yep. So that's how we want to play anyway. So
we need that on the 5th when Stu's back. We need to let Stu play physical, because
sure.
I saw them grabbing jerseys. The Spurs are grabbing jerseys. We were grabbing jerseys, and that's like Isaiah Stewart's signature move. So hopefully there's no calls on that going forward. But
so not a great game from Dennis Jenkins, but I'm not concerned. I'm not going to point to one things I'm worried about now.
No, it's the team that, like we said, it's kind of when they all. Just like when they all do well, everyone eats. When they do bad, it kind of feels like it's just a little bit out of sync.
Let's go to our last guy for the night. Javonte Green did not score in this game. 0 for 5 overall, 0 for 3 from 3. Bad shooting night for him. One of the rare ones we've seen from him all the season. No free throw attempts, no rebounds, no assists, no turnovers, no blocks, and no steals. One block in 13 minutes. What'd you see from Javonte Green tonight, E?
Cardio.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. It was not a good game for Javonte. He got to flush this out. Had some good looks. They just weren't dropping. And he's a guy that I don't really think can afford to have games like this, because he's a guy that can get phased out of a lineup based on conversations we just had. If they want to look for somebody like maybe a Kevin Huerter, or maybe give a guy like Sasser some burn, Javonte is going to be one of those guys that they kind of, sit down. Because while we can be upset at guys like Karis LeVert, him and JB are like these, and he's a veteran that has proven that he can be successful and productive in spots that we've shown in his career. Javonte's been a journeyman for a reason, even though Karis has too, but he's obviously a little bit more proven. So, this wasn't a good game for Javonte. Defensively, he was just kind of all over the place. He let up some open shots, some open threes as well from the corner, and he wasn't able to kind of feed it back by hitting some of the open looks that he had too. So not really his best game, and hopefully he can clean that up next time.
Yeah, go ahead, boss.
Just kind of like on theme with everybody else, the shots weren't falling, and it's just something rare. He also had no fouls, which I love to point out, because he very rarely fouls, and it usually speaks to his defense, especially when we win. But cardio is cardio, but again, nothing detrimental. He didn't help, but he didn't harm. No turnovers, no fouls, nothing like that. But he wasn't able to get any of his shots in, and he did have a block. So just not his game. But again, it was no one's game.
I'm not concerned about Javonte Green falling out of the lineup at all. If I'm being honest, guys. How many times have we seen Chris here say, "Mr. What you need, coach"? How many times have we talked about Javonte Green? How many times have I said, "Can you whoa" after post game? Like, how many times have I done that this year? Like, everybody is not going to have a A+ game every single game. And despite his shooting, he normally plays the same way every game. He had a few plays that should have been steals, could have been steals. They retrieved it right at the last. So, like, I'm not concerned about him at all. Like, I'm not expecting him to play a great game every single game. 90% of the time this season, he has been a plus on the court, and it's not even a question. So I've seen, Green versus Huerter, who gets, bro. There's no way I think there's any way, but even the shooting, he didn't shoot well tonight. How many games can you count on one hand that he hasn't shot well this season? Because he takes good shots. If they're not good shots, he's not going to shoot the ball. Usually it's from the corner, the elbow, whatever. He's knocking it down. So you didn't bring in Chris. What you at, man? Where you at, bro? I had to bring it myself. But I'm not concerned about Javonte Green one bit, because he knows who he is. He plays his game, and when he's open, he usually knocks down shots, and he's usually a plus on the floor. He's closed games for this team this year. You've seen 4 or 5 games where he has closed the game, and they've won all of them. So I'm not concerned about him at all.
It's one of those things too, like even Eric mentioned, like LeVert. Like, the thing is that we usually can rely on him for at least that stuff. He usually can make a couple shots go in. So just just not a Javante and Green game, but
I
he'll
agree
come
with that though.
back to
I
it.
agree. I agree, Mike. Like
Agreed,
all
but
these guys that you can't have. If you have a bunch of games like this, and of course,
that's
I'm
that's
totally
the
with you.
comment that I'm kind of referring to, because
Yeah,
you put that in though, like, with the Vert has to do something more. I'm like, yes, absolutely, he absolutely has to do something more based on what he's shown offensively. But like tonight, yeah, Wu could have done more, but like that's not something I usually ask of him on the offense. It's like,
right.
but he doesn't usually go 0 for 5.
But
So
Eric, you're not wrong at
exactly.
all. At all. That's anybody on this team. You got to produce while you're in the court. It's just
Yep.
Correct.
for you guys who are saying, I don't know, like just go back and watch the overall body of work from him this season. It's not even close as far as Boss has called him our most consistent player all year as far as for the role that he's been asked to play. So yeah, I'm not worried about him at all. All right, guys. That's all we got, man. So any other comments on this game, guys, before we get out of here? Anything else y'all got?
No, I was ready for Wednesday. I said we were
All
going
right.
to win this week.
Yep.
So
I did too. I did
now
too.
we're
So
doing it.
you mentioned Wednesday. So next game, guys, is going to be the clash of the two best teams, at least league record wise, in the league when the Pistons take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. That is also at LCA. Eric will be back in the building for that as well, because that's just how he does.
Yes.
What are you guys looking really quickly? What are you guys looking at heading into that matchup? Anything stand out? Anything you're looking for? How do you think it's going to go? Whatever. The Pistons going to bounce back. I'll start with you, boss, really quickly. We can get out of here.
Yeah,
What do you
real
see
quick.
looking into or going into next game?
Kind of mentioned it earlier when someone mentioned like the Spurs were able to shut down OKC, I think, because of their incredible defense. I think as long as our perimeter defense needs to be much better, our transition defense needs to be good, and we just have to be hitting our shots, and we have a chance.
Yeah.
OKC, I think, will be down J-Dub. I think they'll still be down Shea. They're still a very good team. Obviously, they're deep, but they rely a lot on their offense, and they have defense too. So, but Dort and Caruso and those guys, they play tough and physical. Case and Wallace. So hopefully it's a game where they let them play. Because if it's a game where they let them play, I feel like it's pretty evenly matched, and then it just comes down to who can make their shots. So we need to do a better job. Our offense needs to be better next game for us to have a chance, because our defense is still good. It just wasn't like the Spurs tonight. The Spurs are better at defense.
Okay. And Mike says they'll be in the back-to-back. E, what you see, bro? What you got?
Yeah, I wish Shea was playing. I'm doubtful that he will, but I would love it for Cade's sake, just for the MVP conversation. You know, Cade is still getting the little brother with the unplugged controller treatment with this MVP conversation. So if he were to beat up on a guy, not beat up, but if he were to outperform or match Shea in a W, I think it would be huge for his campaign. Yeah. But this is still a team that you don't sleep on. I mean, like Sarah said, guys like Isaiah Joe, Case and Wallace, Lou Dort, Hardenstein, like these are guys that still can make plays and score. Chet, they got firepower. Yeah, they got firepower off the bench as well. This is not a team. Yeah, like there's a lot of firepower in terms of scoring, and we just saw tonight. Now, granted, they don't have a Wemby on their team, but the Pistons are going to have depth and a team setting a production instead of just having one or two guys, backpacking. So I'm definitely interested to see how they bounce back. They normally do, find a way to play better off of losses. So hopefully, even against a team as good as OKC, even without their best player, hopefully they're able to answer that call and make it happen.
Yeah, and I hope they don't just look at the Thunder and see guys who are out and assume it's going to be an easier game than usual. We just saw the Thunder just snap the Cavaliers' 7-game win streak, right? And the Cavs have been hot. They've been hot. And OKC took care of them. So there's still nothing to sneeze at without Shea being there. I totally agree with E. I want to see both these teams at full strength to get a good gauge of what we're looking at. But yeah, don't overlook the Thunder just because they don't have Shea. They're still very deep, very good, very disciplined team. So, and they're the champs. So you got to give them credit. I'm not overlooking them at all. The Pistons should win that game, in my opinion, but we'll see.
I just love that you said they don't have a Wemby when there's a Chet, and people always compare those two. Like, they don't have a Wemby.
Once again, they ain't got a
Wemby. But Chet did pop off in the Cleveland game. Isaiah Joe was like 4 of 4 from 3 and had 5 steals in the first quarter. It was
crazy.
But then the Cavs made a run and came back and almost won. So these guys are just kind of like us and like the Spurs, where that they can start off strong, but they are still young and they can make young team mistakes. So it's just about who's going to be more disciplined. It's a great time for us to really just lock into our skill set. And again, like we talked about today, just play our best game and it won't be too bad. Today, our offense, like I think we played good defense, but we need to do better offensively. I'm happy with the outcome. These are teams that we would only see again, guys, if we made it to the finals, which would be incredible. there are like we are first in the East, but there are NBA teams out there that are just as good or better than us. It's just the way it's every year. There's never a team that's dominant, So even OKC got taken to 7 games before they made it to, and multiple rounds before they made it to the finals. Like it's going to be a battle, but
NBA.
They do have a lot of. It's just going to be defense and just trying to get our more offense going tonight. And I think again we only lost by 10 with tonight with the shooting just being god awful. Like I said, if 3 other guys just drained one of their threes, if Cade hit a couple more of his shots, it would have been a different story. But we got to figure it out.
Stick to your game plan of trying to score in the paint like we had tonight. 62 points in the paint, which has helped us only lose by 11 instead of being a blowout. Right, against Wemby, we're not going to be facing him next game. So as long as we get some shots to fall, I think we'll be fine. So we'll see.
Agreed.
All right, y'all. Listen, man, E, we appreciate you pulling up per use. Make sure you guys are following this Clutch Points Rider reporter for the Detroit Pistons. I'm Eric Vincent on all platforms except for YouTube. Top Title Detroit. Make sure you guys go follow him over there. He's responsible for a lot of the content you guys see me posting the shorts. So shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you as always, man.
Of course,
doing your thing. Make sure you guys go follow and subscribe to my man for sure. He's got great stuff. And guys, listen, we appreciate you guys for showing up, showing out as you guys always do. Make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe if you are new. So we hope you guys have a great night. And y'all know the drill, man. Detroit versus everybody. See y'all Wednesday. Peace.
All the dirty work, all dog. I'ma dive on the floor, go try to block every shot. And I'ma be physical with you the whole game. You know Stu gonna be physical with you. When you think of the Pistons, you think it's just hard work and just gritty basketball. That's just the identity you gotta have when you put on that jersey.
I'm not your average breed of canine. Not a good dog, I'm bad boy for life. I set the tone, don't care about no tick. Let it be known, I get my respect. Come in the lane and see I don't bluff. If you retaliate, that's on ya. Talking pundits, I hear your shade. Talking that chop, you must run this way. Tryna tell ya, if the dog palm, mess around, find out, Tryna tell ya, if the dog palm, mess around, find out, For some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that. When you're real for some barbecue sauce, boy, you better crop a hill, cause I'm like that.